Radio station.
See developing story forward Andrew Wiggins, who played a big part of Golden State's championship run last season, is expected to return to the Warriors early this week, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He's missed 22 games attending to a family matter. The Lakers peaking at the right time, 10 wins the last 14 games, within a half game of 6th in the West with 4 regular season games remaining. LeBron James says they want to put themselves in position to be able to compete for an NBA championship, and he likes what they've been building. Anthony Davis has played a major role in that, notes ESPN NBA writer Zach Lowe.
Anthony Davis has been 37 or more points in 4 of his last 5 games. Looks completely dominant off the dribble, spotting up, posting up, running the floor. Every ingredient of his game is humming at the right time.
A champion will be crowned tonight in Houston. Connecticut and San Diego State meet up in the men's national title game. The Huskies, vying for their 5th national championship since 1999, have won their 5 NCAA tournament games this year by double digits.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Greene. That's Greene. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Start of a brand new week here in the Ingles Studio. And you can hear the Sportsocracy everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. See us everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and you can join us in the chat. In fact, that's the only way to get into the chat. And Already, we got 1 mention about the women's national championship game. 0 mentions so far about the men's championship game coming up tonight. It is a championship day here in the Sportsocracy, and it's probably the most muted a national championship has been, well, and I can't remember how long.
Well, I mean, I can give you a handful of reasons for that. 1, Connecticut is hurting people's feelings. They are not playing nice. They would be getting very low grades in works and plays well with others. And I'm going to agree with what Adam Black said in our YouTube chat. The women's Final Four has been infinitely more interesting, if for nothing else because there is a couple really high level players in that. Mm-hmm. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are phenomenal players. Do me a favor. Final Four. Name me 2 players that played in it.
Oh, yeah.
Sonogo and Isaac Wong.
Sonogo and Isaac Wong.
Okay.
Isaiah Wong.
How about – and I called him Isaac Wong.
You did.
Isaiah Wong. Who's 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good point.
That ridiculously big freshman for UConn. Yeah, what's his name? I'll give you $1,000 to tell me right now. Man, crickets.
Jeremy's going to have his picks for the national championship game coming up at the end of this hour.
I'll give you a hint. It starts with U and ends in con by a lot.
Again, like I said, it's the most muted national championship game I can remember.
But there is one very big consistent between the men's game and the women's game, and that is today's opening drive.
The opening drive always brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to 629 Brevard Road. Check out the showroom. They got a full stock of brand new cars, of course, certified pre-owns as well. All you got to do is when you're ready to go buy and get a new car, new to you or brand new, Just mention the Sportsocracy. They give you $250 on top of your trade-in value.
You can ride in style like me with my brand new 2023 Pro 4X Nissan Titan everywhere I go, no matter what color truck it's been, because I've had 3. People have stopped me and said, hey, what is that? And I'm happy to tell them, and I'm happy to tell them where I got it, which is 629 Brevard Road. Tell them the 2 formerly fat guys of the Sportsocracy sent you.
All right, so in the chat, the first mention of basketball we had today was Adam Black, the reverend of the Sportsocracy.
Father.
I
don't think that's
He's not a father. He's not a priest.
I don't know when you're supposed to do that.
I mean, he is a father. He has children, but
I don't know when you're supposed to do that. Okay.
Father. He says, I think this is the first time in history that the women's Final Four has overshadowed the men's.
And he's right.
He is right.
He's 100% right.
He's
but
right,
there's a commonality between.
But I don't think it's got anything to do with the basketball.
Oh, it 100% does. The women's basketball was better, period. It's not debatable. For me, it's not even the ballpark. However, they had one really, really consistent problem. Your officials are awful. Awful. If Caitlin, look, I played basketball for many years. If what Caitlin Clark did was a technical, I should have been put in prison for what I did multiple times. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you think contentious, if I'd ever gotten teed up for that, my reaction would have been bad. I punted a basketball into the crowd one time.
Full Bobby Knight.
And I did more than she did, and it wasn't close. The women's Final Four was everything worked out the exact way you wanted it to. Exactly how you wanted it to. And the bad thing is where we come away from this, what we come away from this talking about. Some people are making a big deal out of Angel Reese and I don't care. All right, 21-year-old kid. Look at the men's game. Look at 21-year-old kids in general. I don't care.
Right.
But we're talking about your officials. You get this weekend basically yourself. The golf was awful. It was awful. The men's Final Four was awful. The end of the game was great, except for the fact that the officials completely hosed FAU.
Yeah.
And we're talking about your officiating because it became the story, and that's I'm going to be honest with you. That's an infinitely bigger problem in college basketball for the men and the women than NIL, transfer portal, any of it. It is so maddening to me to watch 95% of something and then have the ending completely ruin it. Same thing that happened at WrestleMania, but no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Haynes, he and I watched WrestleMania together. If you've watched this channel for a long time, you would know him by our loving nickname for him, Football Farley. Did you watch any of the WrestleMania?
I did. I watched every second of Saturday.
Night
I watched
one?
most of last night, and
Night one,
phenomenal.
A+.
Yeah.
George Kittle with the spot with Pat McAfee.
Yep.
The last match, and I don't even know who these guys are. I'm having to look at Brian and go, "Hey, who's that guy?" Because I don't
Kevin
know.
Owens and Sami Zayn. You didn't know who those guys were?
I knew the faces, but I'm the worst wrestling fan on the planet because I'm back to. Do we still do the DX thing? Anybody ever come up and go, boo?
Actually, I think it happened twice yesterday.
It did. So I don't know who they are. And I think I broke Brian's brain because he's a super locked-in wrestling fan. And he's thinking, oh, Cody Rhodes is going to win this thing.
Stop that.
And I'm like, buddy.
That was never happening.
Yeah, he walked out on them. Do you know the McMahon's reputation with people that
I'm surprised he even got a title shot.
Me too. I'm shocked he wasn't fighting like Bad Bunny or Michael Cole or Pete Rose or Johnny Knoxville. They've all happened. Everything I just said has happened in the last 20 years.
Yep.
It's just, that was the craziest part of this weekend to me. I'm watching all of these things that I would never watch otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. I haven't watched women's basketball since I coached women's basketball. But I don't watch men's basketball in large part. I am very football centric.
Yep.
And in one weekend, I'm watching the women's Final Four. I'm watching WrestleMania. I'm watching guys play golf that I don't know who they are. And I want it to get back to that, but I don't know that it ever can. I've been thinking this all weekend long of how great a weekend this is. But how much of it's sustainable? The women's game is, I think it's I'm not going to say it's caught the men, Because if Carolina and Duke and we're in there, you give me a Final Four like this, yeah, the women's better. It's not close.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of this is sustainable? And how do you carve out your niche if you don't have this otherworldly player like Caitlin Clark, or you don't have these narratives like Wrestlemania had? I can't figure out how you're supposed to get back into the sports schedule. Because we got the Masters coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you care?
Oh, I do. I care.
You and I do. But
golf
okay.
fans care. The average person, maybe not. Is the live story, does that still have legs? Does that still have any intrigue for anyone?
And everybody's trying. Oh, Tiger Woods cold-shouldered Bryson DeChambeau. I don't care. I've seen it. I've heard it. I don't care. Now, I'm looking forward to the golf because it's Augusta, and I love Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned this to me earlier. It's going to rain Friday and Saturday. Maybe one of those we have to end it on Monday. And was my prevailing thought of the weekend. Of everything, there are so many things in the sports world that can carve out their little niche. And I'm not trying to demean their niche. The Super Bowl's watched by 200 million people. Everything else, you have to find your corner of the market to sustain yourself.
Right.
And I now feel like there are a lot of things that are, but I'm getting really tired of watching these great events, and then they're ruined at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working on me as a sports fan. I was so angry at the end of yesterday for a women's game where I didn't know but one of the players going in. I was so angry I couldn't see straight.
Because of what?
Because the officials.
Oh.
They're awful. Awful. Inconsistent. And it seems like I say that all the time. Every time I watch basketball, the officials are a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA has a legitimate officiating problem.
And it's weird to me to think, how do you keep having these on the biggest stage? Like, how do you? Because I can understand, regular season game in the Big South on a Thursday night, you're not going to get a top-notch crew. But you're down to the Final Four. This should be the best of the best. You should not have to talk about the officials in a Final Four.
And you can do the same thing with the men's game. Dusty May said this to the official: "You have housed me 4 possessions in a row."
Mm-hmm.
And everybody forgets about it because San Diego State hits that amazing shot. 4 god-awful calls in a row that went San Diego State's way. They should not be playing tonight, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I live by a very simple philosophy that every shooter I have ever known that played basketball has lived by. And it is quite simple. Ball don't lie. And San Diego State is going to get annihilated tonight. Because ball don't lie.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we had a lot going on this weekend. You had the women's Final Four. All of the I don't know. I didn't watch the games. I watched the highlights. I saw it was competitive.
South Carolina,
Dawn Staley in South Carolina loses in the Final Four, and that was a big storyline to see if they could finish off the undefeated season and all of that.
South Carolina, Iowa is as good a game as you'll see in college basketball. I do not care. I don't care if it's low-level men's to high-level women's. That is the best you will ever see college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really bothersome to me that the narrative has been the officials.
There's
8 stories on ESPN sidebar right now. 2 of them are about college basketball officiating.
It's been the officials, or it's been stuff not off the court, but it's been the Angel Reese stuff. Yeah. And, she's so classless.
Stop. That's irked me all day.
I still feel like if a guy had done that, you'd be defending him.
No, I don't think it's that cut and dry.
Really?
I think it went too long.
Well, yeah, she did kind of chase Caitlin across the court.
She chased her around the court to say it. To me, that's not classless. To me, it's 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want you to think about what you did at 21 and then cast aspersions. You at 45 can say, "Oh, that's classless." Okay, let's scoreboard. All right, receipts. Let's talk about what you did at 21. Then you tell me that.
Right.
I don't care about any of that.
I do like the fact that it's got people talking.
And I do too. I just wish it wasn't for this. I wish it was that you had the best player in women's college basketball put on an absolute show, and Kim Mulkey takes the lowest. By the way, this blows my mind. Lowest ranked preseason team in the history of women's college basketball to win a national title. Do you know where they started the year?
No.
16.
Wow.
It's insanely top-heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and those are the stories. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's you know what? Name's on the door. I'm allowed to say this. This is why we started this show, was to get away from all that other nonsense. And it irritates me that we had to start the first 15 minutes of the show with that.
Yeah.
And now we're done with it because we don't do politics. We don't do all that other nonsense. We talk about sports.
And this is the Sportsocracy, and you are joining us, of course, here in the Ingles studio for a Monday afternoon show. We have, we got top 13 linebackers to get to in the 4 o'clock hour.
It's an interesting class for me.
As we continue the Draftmas season, going through every class for at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Greene to give us top 13 linebackers at the top of the 4 o'clock hour.
Well, we've also got to talk about draft needs for the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, the Green Bay Packers, the UFC WWE merger, which I cannot wait to talk about. And Jalen Carter is proving me right every time he opens his mouth.
Oh, dear.
Every single time a story comes out about him, he is proving me right. I had it's time for that segment that I love so much. A little birdie told me. And we'll do that after the break.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is back at Taco Bell. And in case you didn't know, it's stacked. Yeah, packed inside it is a double serving of premium grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer. Then on top of that, it has a layer of grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. Yeah, the outside. Why? Probably because it refuses to be caged in by the confines of its tortilla walls. Or maybe just to add more cheesy flavor.
Double steak grilled cheese burrito. Get one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Double the steak claim as compared to steak quesadilla. Contact store for hours and participation which vary.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It's time for Flostradamus's A Birdie Told Me Once. How do you say it? A little birdie told me. A little birdie told him something about Jalen Carter.
So the first part is not what I was told. There's a report out today that Jalen Carter is declining visits with any teams outside the top 10 because his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, is so confident he's going in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're the only one. Every word that comes out of this kid's mouth is upsetting people. He hasn't interviewed well. He showed up heavy at his pro day, couldn't finish it. I'm getting legit worried about this kid. He's wildly immature. And people in our YouTube comments can say, people talk like they know somebody. I know enough people in this league that have been around this kid. Either they're all lying or there's something to this. Because I've yet to meet one person that has met this kid in person and walked away from it going, yeah, that's a franchise-type player. Not a single one.
Mm-hmm.
They all come away from it going, man, that kid needs to grow up. There are teams that do not have him on the board at all that are in the top 10. There is an entire possibility that this kid, not only does he not go in the top 10, he falls like a rock. I mean, we had Lions and Seahawks fans over the weekend with mock drafts that went out on our YouTube channel saying, man, I hope he falls to our second first-round pick. And I chuckled, started sending a couple texts, then this story came out today.
Yep.
And I went, it's not as out of the range of possibility as you might think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've read this book before. I have read this book before. And the talent of this kid is good. The production's not there. It's one thing if you're Warren Sapp. Okay, I go back to 95 when he fell like a rock because there was a report that he had a marijuana problem and he had tested positive a couple times.
Right.
There were no red flags about his on-field play. There are about Jalen Carter.
Mm-hmm. Effort.
Yeah. The motor's not there. And I mean, people crush me for saying, well, but production's probably 6 on that list of things that make you nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just getting to this point of, you know what? I mean, I wish you the best, but there is no way.
It just goes to show you how important the draft process is.
And now that gets into a little birdie told me. I don't know that I have ever said the phrase I'm getting ready to say out loud.
Okay.
The Las Vegas Raiders took him off the board.
Wow.
Think about what I just said. A team that has notoriously looked at some personality issues as recently as Max Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
They had a few. And they've done it for 30 years. They've looked at this kid and gone, we're good. We're good. And I will tell you that did not come from somebody out of the Raiders organization, but I've heard it from more than one place.
Okay. All right. So he will not be going number 7 overall. I think that makes perfect sense for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think I said this last week. If I'm trying to build a culture there, we're done. If you've got a red flag, I'm not.
Well, it's not even a red flag. And people, you got to understand, there's a difference between where we have gotten with how we evaluate players. There is a difference between red flags.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If it was just an immaturity thing, okay, you're immature, but when I get you on the field on Sunday, I know exactly what I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case here. You're the Georgia fan. You tell me if I'm speaking out of turn here. Were there not times that you looked at him and went, are you even trying at this point?
There were times. There were times that you looked at him and went, what are you doing? And then he'll turn around 2 plays later and go, oh, okay. Well, that's the guy. So, I mean, obviously teams, when they're drafting, they want consistency. They want consistent motor. They want consistent effort. And I don't know that Jalen gives you that. It's just the explosive abilities that he has. But is that worth putting your franchise in peril? Is that worth using a top 10 pick on a guy who may flame out? Who was the offensive line? I've been trying to sit here and think about think of the name. There was an offensive lineman from Georgia who came into the draft, basically bombed the draft process, and within a year he was out. He went to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Isaiah something. His name is not coming to me.
Oh, he's one of the most. He played for the Dolphins too. Oh, his name's going to come to me. It's Isaiah Wilson.
Isaiah Wilson. Yeah, Isaiah Wilson. I'm not making that mistake. If I'm a team drafted in the first round, I'm not making that mistake. Unless I know that I have a culture in place that I can deal with this kid.
Well, I mean, here's my problem. And I've had this problem for an extended period of time, and you can attest to this. Is Jalen Carter a better defensive tackle prospect than Derek Brown?
No.
Sheer on-field talent, he's not better. Derek Brown had 0 red flags. Is he a better prospect than Quinnen Williams?
No.
Is he a better prospect than Ed Oliver?
No.
This is the closest one we've had. I would actually say he probably is a little better. But it's close.
I don't know.
Ed Oliver was so thin that there were a lot of people that thought, "Oh, good Lord, you're never going to play in the middle of a high-level defense in the NFL." And there were some teams that thought he was an end.
But the pass rush ability with him was just off the charts, and the production was off the charts.
You got to go all the way back to Marcel Darius, who didn't go particularly well in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's every defensive tackle that's gone in the top 10 in 13 years. He's not that guy. He's not. I always had this problem of in any other draft class, he would be good. He would be a fringe top 10 guy, but there's no high-end talent. You got Will Anderson, Christian Gonzalez, and then a whole lot of, well, yeah, but – and that's the reason everybody said he's a generational talent. No, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
No, he is not. And all of these things, that the Drew Rosenhaus side of this, I think you're getting bad advice because this is terrible advice. I'm not going to talk to anybody outside the top 10. Okay, could you care to explain to me why? Was it going to hurt you? All right, so you're going to fly out to these teams. You're going to be wined and dined, have a nice little dinner, talk to a team. Why would you say that? No, I'm actually asking you the question.
Oh.
Why would you do that? If you're Drew Rosenhaus.
I don't know.
Because you don't want these teams to talk to him.
No.
Because he has literally typhooned himself to everybody he's been around. And the more he talks, the more money he's costing himself.
Right.
I can tell you right now, there were people that walked away from the combine and went, what was that? There's no accountability. There's no admittance of what you did. Really no admittance of any wrongdoing whatsoever. And now you're telling me you won't even talk to a team outside the top 10. This has late, just ridiculous draft night fall written all over it. Now, team could fall in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't quite know who that's going to be. I had him going to the Falcons. And I'm not so sure that that's a landing spot at this point because they're all about culture too.
Yep. The question becomes, how far does he fall? Will he get out of the first round?
Notorious B.I.G. in our YouTube comments, which, by the way, is the most A1 name in the history of time. He asked me, what did Jalen say? Well, Jalen hasn't said anything about who he's going to talk to. This all came through Drew Rosenhaus.
Right, because Drew doesn't want him speaking.
Exactly. He didn't say anything to me, but how do I say this? I know people that have been in the same room with him, and it has been a real consistent of there is no accountability there whatsoever, and it terrifies us. Absolutely scares us to death. And then you get this innocuous report of Drew Rosenhaus says he's not going to talk to anybody in the top 10. Okay. What's my favorite phrase to ask when things like this come out?
Who wants you to know?
Who wants you to know that? It's obviously Drew Rosenhaus. He's the one that said it. Why does he want? But why would that be? It's not going to hurt anything. All right, you talk to teams outside the top 10. You get a nice steak. You talk to a few people. You move on.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the negative there? Unless exactly what you're going to do is going to confirm what a lot of people are saying right now behind closed doors. You know how I know that? Because I'm involved in a lot of those conversations, and it's a lot of really negative. Now, could this kid come to the league and have a great career? Sure, Warren Sapp did it. But I'm telling you, there are a lot of teams that are looking at this kid going, we're good.
Yeah, it's a hell of a risk for a first-round pick. let alone
a position
top
that has
10 pick.
At a position that has a ridiculously high bust rate anyway. Because there haven't been a ton of them in the top 10, and the ones that were no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at this going, all right, so if you're not this guy, why would you not be putting yourself in front of as many people as humanly possible to confirm that? I'm looking at and this is just a team I'm connected to, so it's the one I'm going to use. The New York Jets need somebody to play next to Quinnen Williams. Would you not think you would want to be in a room with Robert Saleh and say, this is my football IQ, this is who I am? It's one of the best defensive minds in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not want to sit in front of that? Oh, because it's going to confirm what a lot of people are saying. But that's the only thing that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to read Drew Rosenhaus's mind, but I can tell you I read that press release, and that's all I could think about was, ooh, this might be worse than I thought it was.
Which makes you question why Drew did it. Why did Drew put it out there?
Because my thought is that he is trying to speak this into existence. That everybody thinks this kid's a top 10 pick. I can walk you through our YouTube comments of, there's no shot he falls that far. No, there is. Oh, no, there is.
I didn't think there was.
Oh, I can tell you
is.
definitively. Now there is. There is no doubt in my mind. There is a chance that he falls like a rock. And Drew Rosenhaus is trying to get out in front of it of, we're not worried at all. We have teams in the top 10 that they see the talent. And all I can hear, and as I'm saying this, all I can hear is Paul Heyman in my head. My client is just, there's nothing. Because that's what Drew Rosenhaus is.
Yeah.
He's a WWE yard barker of everything's great here. It's the greatest we've ever seen. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, everybody I know is going, there is something with that kid that is really bothering me. And if you're not going to give me the chance to figure it out, off the board.
Yep. You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Speaking of the WWE, we got big news involving the WWE and a little change of ownership of the company. We'll talk about that coming up next. Plus, we'll get into our first team-by-team draft needs of the day. Talk about the Baltimore Ravens, what they need in this 2023 draft.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stray shower into the early part of the night tonight. Patchy fog late night. That will roll into the early part of Tuesday. And a warm overnight low. 47 is where we are headed. Going up to around 80 after a mid-60s high on Monday. We'll see mostly sunny skies Tuesday. Increasing clouds Tuesday night. Low around 60. And then stray showers and storms Wednesday, 81 for the high. Cooler Thursday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
When emergencies strike, firefighters are there to stand strong and answer the call. Start or continue a high-octane and rewarding career with the Hendersonville Fire Department. HFD offers competitive pay, fantastic benefits, and the foundation for a meaningful work-life balance. If you value integrity, service to your community, and working with a professional team, apply today. Now hiring full-time and part-time Hendersonville firefighter EMT positions. Unlock your best life at www.hvlnc.gov/jobs. Live here, serve here.
Everybody is buzzing about Yellow Jackets on Showtime, including the cast.
This season will blow your mind. I actually dropped to the floor. Kind of freaky, kind of gory, and it's a little bit funny.
It's endlessly fascinating. I think people are going to freak out when they see that.
It's going to be real fun. If I wasn't on this show, I'd be watching just as fiercely.
This season of Yellow Jackets is wild.
If you haven't watched the show yet, get to it!
Yellow Jackets, new episodes streaming now, only on Showtime. And now, stream Showtime on Paramount+.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is the Sportsocracy, and, well, we already talked about some wrestling today. Wrestlemania 39, the two-night event this past weekend. A-plus marks for Saturday, night one.
And Sunday was a train wreck.
F plus.
Shane McMahon, like, look, I can jump, and there went your knee. And she just exploded, didn't she?
I mean, I feel bad for him.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he's a 55-year-old guy out there trying to, and it was a hell of a jump. It was a hell of a jump.
I mean, I can't jump that high.
Yeah, as he's trying to hurdle over. Who the Miz?
The Miz.
Yeah, I even forgot who the hell it was.
Yeah, he had a bad weekend. Yeah, you got smoked by an NFL tight end, a former punter, Snoop Dogg, and the owner's son.
Shane McMahon leapfrogs him. Good move. And then he came down wrong on the knee, blew it out, and it was immediate. Like I looked at my wife and I was like, "He's done."
That's not good. I've seen landings.
She thought it was a work. She thought it was all part of it, and I was like, "No."
I did too for a second.
That's like that's exactly like when Triple H fell off the table. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
He got up onto the announce table, was going to give the pedigree to somebody. I don't even remember who it was, and the table broke, and he tore every ligament in his leg. You know when something has gone awry.
And the irony is that the one that had to pull this segment back together was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Who was sitting on the side just going, what's just happened? I got to do what now?
They're like, I
got to go hit that guy.
Go do something.
I'll go hit that guy. Let's go.
He's like,
he threw a $10,000 pair of sunglasses in the crowd, too, which I will never unsee that.
It's like, go save the night, Snoop Dogg. And he went, I guess I'll do the worst people's elbow since Vince McMahon. I really don't know. Anyhow, I would say overall, it was a win for the weekend for WrestleMania 39. And then you get the news today that WWE, as Vince McMahon has, been dealing with some out of the ring kind of stuff, dark side of the ring kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's still around, have no fear.
And he rejoined the company in January, said that it could be up for sale, and now we have the news that WWE and UFC are going to be joining forces. There's a merger creating a $21.4 billion sports entertainment company that is going to be run by the Endeavor Group Holdings Incorporated.
They'll have the parent company of UFC.
Right. They will have a 51% controlling interest in the new merged company, and WWE shareholders will have a 49% stake.
So now here's my question. Does that mean that UFC fighters are now going to be cutting promos? Just straight Macho Man Randy. Ooh, yeah.
I think they should. I think they should. They should link up that way.
No doubt.
I think UFC would be more interesting with more of that coaching, more of the theatrics, more of that. I don't want it to go into the octagon, but yeah.
Oh, you don't want them to have like full shtick?
Oh no.
I'm good with full shtick.
Really?
Oh yeah. I like a bad guy.
See, here's my thing though. You got to be careful about joining forces with to put it the nicest way possible, a fake sports company to a real sport.
Well, I mean, before you say fake sport, and I've said this on the show, Jeremy did try to be a pro wrestler at one point. Google Finn Balor's head to tell me fake sport. He looks like he got hit in the head with an axe.
You already get enough when it comes to boxing and UFC of, all the conspiracy theorists talking about, oh, it's just rigged. I don't know that teaming up with WWE that is completely rigged. I don't know that that's sending the best message.
It's not rigged. It's scripted. There's a difference. It's a
Same
production.
thing.
It's no
Same thing.
No, rigged means you could bet on it. Rigged is what I'm walking away from the Final Four thinking that it was. I think it's good. I think it's good for both entities because UFC. I love UFC.
Mm-hmm.
It's really. I'm trying to think of the word here. Lather, rinse, repeat. You watch a lot of this and go, man, this looks exactly like the last one did, and like the last one before that. And I think I think they both can help each other in some shape, form, or fashion.
I would agree. They share a lot of, not a lot, but they share some of the same talent. We've been talking forever about Conor McGregor. When is he going to go to the WWE? When is he going to go full pro wrestling? I don't think that's not coming. At least for a star, just for a spot.
I know definitively the George Kittle time is coming, and I'm here for that.
That's so good.
And I'm here for that. As the tight end whisperer, I approve this message.
Right. So the merger, building a $21+ billion company, I think it could be good for both. There's things that each can learn from the other. I mean, UFC would love to have the social media reach and reaction that the WWE has.
One time, Dana White in a legit fight with Vince McMahon. Since Vince likes to get involved in everything with it, it looked like a deflated beach ball.
I mean, are we not done with that?
No, he did it over the weekend again.
Vince did?
Oh wait, no, I was watching that from last year.
Sorry. I was gonna say
he did it with Pat.
He didn't do it again.
Yeah, no, he showed up and took his shirt off, and people went, "Whoa!" Put some air back in that dude. Yikes, that looks like a football that you left outside for the winter.
It's hard when you used to be a bodybuilder to keep up the physique.
Yeah, that's what did it.
When you're 80 years old.
It was the bodybuilding. It wasn't the shaky.
There were shaky.
Weren't any problems there, I'm sure. Yeah, you were, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it.
Yeah. All right, you're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. I think it could be a good move for both. We'll just have to wait and see how the product is affected on both sides.
But it's draftmas season.
It is draftmas season, and it's time to talk some draft needs. We're going through each and every team here on the program to talk about what they need to pick up in the 2023 NFL Draft, and the Baltimore Ravens. They're in a position where I don't really know where you're going to go at this point.
I don't either. I feel like you have overplayed your hand and overplayed your hand and overplayed your hand. And now I'm looking at a really good roster with one gigantic question mark. I'm looking at their all-22 right now, and it looks like the Joker or the Riddler got a hold of it. There's just a big old question mark right behind that center with the one who shall not be named.
Mm-hmm.
If you're new to the program, the name of the current Baltimore Ravens quarterback is on conversation probation, and so we shan't say it until
something
a movement
gets done.
has come afoot.
Right. And until that happens, until you know where you're going to go, it's really just like throwing darts at a board to figure out what they're going to do. I mean, in the latest mock draft, Jeremy had them, working out a trade with Tennessee to get an extra first-round draft pick and then moving up to 3 to get a quarterback. I don't know that I see that happening, though.
I mean, it's one of the ranges of outcomes for them. I mean, you can make it work with he who shall not be named. I don't see a path that they go into the 2023 season with Tyler Huntley. I don't. It's either one of these top 4 quarterbacks, and by top 4, I mean the latter 2, or Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from there's not a lot of holes on this roster. I mean, I would love for you to add an edge guy. I feel like you need a legit receiver, and I've thought that forever. forever. And I love Zay Flowers here. I think he's a perfect fit with what they're trying to do. But then you even look at the dichotomy of the two teams here. All right, if you have number 8, then that makes sense to go get Zay Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, then look how much that changes your draft strategy. Now, if you're stuck at 22, you can't do anything. Nobody will make the move, whatever the case may be. Are you really going to draft a receiver to try to prop up Tyler Huntley?
I mean, I feel like I feel like that becomes an even bigger need.
I don't, because I don't think anything changes. Mediocre quarterback. If you put Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson around them, do they become Pro Bowlers?
No, but he's already been a Pro Bowler. No, I think that makes it an even bigger need. If you have a mediocre quarterback or an unproven quarterback, you want to surround him with the best weapons possible.
He can't throw to what you already have. I mean, am I really going to use more draft capital, or does this become a defensive first team all over again, the way it was in the early 2000s?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you have now gotten to a point of, okay, you got to do something. This is the reason we're trying to spur about something like we did with the other quarterback who's on conversation probation.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do something. And now I'm hearing more and more of this could carry on past the draft, which is really? You're going to go into the biggest part of your offseason to acquire talent, having absolutely no idea what you're doing at quarterback. I struggle to believe that.
So what breaks? That's the question. What side breaks first?
I don't know.
It won't be
thought
Lamar.
I had a really good read on this, and I'm not so sure.
It will not be Lamar.
I'm not sure you're right.
The only way to solve this, I think, is for Baltimore to give him what he wants.
Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, if that's what he's waiting on, good luck. You may never play again.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a standoff that they do until I'm AARP age. So I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know if that little voice of reason is there, though. If that spot would usually be filled by an agent to go, hey, you need to take this deal.
Oh, yeah, because agents never say dumb things like, hey, we're not going to work out with a team outside of the top 10.
But do you not agree?
No, I don't at all.
Really?
I don't think there's a person on this planet that could convince he who shall not be named that he's not right. I think that's where we've gotten to an impasse here where we've never been before. Because the thing that bothers me about Baltimore is I don't look at Green Bay and see Super Bowl roster. Do you?
No.
I don't see a Super Bowl roster with Aaron or without him.
No, absolutely not.
I do see a potential of a Super Bowl roster here. If I got 17 games out of my quarterback, I see a roster here that could be that good.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Without him, this is one of the 4 worst teams in the AFC. That's how big of a swing there is. And so it changes so many things that I can't believe you're not going to do something to throw the stick in the bicycle tire here. Okay, we can't go on any further. We got to know one way or the other. And now there are rumors that Tennessee is looking at moving up to 3. Lying season, always believe things only but so far.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of what else does this team need, I would really like for you to bring back Marcus Peters. And he still hasn't signed anywhere, so don't find that to be ironic.
Right. So,
I mean, your biggest need's a receiver regardless.
Well, and I agree there. I mean, are you adding anything to the backfield? Are you tired of this little revolving door of injuries that we've had?
No, this is what they do. The Baltimore Ravens will have 4 running backs on the roster at any given time. I've long said I won't be shocked if Ezekiel Elliott winds up in that backfield. Wouldn't surprise me. Tell me this wouldn't be the most Baltimore Raven thing you've ever seen. They convince him to take a $2 million deal to be the 3rd running back that they play around the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that. I think they need to add an edge because I like Odefeola.
Yeah.
I feel like you need somebody else. I like Tyus Bowser. But if you're not going to bring back Marcus Peters, that secondary is not going to be as good as it was, and there were times that it wasn't particularly good last year. Mm-hmm. This is too smart of a team to be in the position they're in right now. That's the number one thing that keeps rattling around my brain every time the Baltimore Ravens come up. You are too smart to be where you are right now. And at some point, I don't know how it breaks. You ask me what breaks. I have no clue.
Yep.
Something's gonna. Teams this good that are run this well from the top down do not end up in situations like this. I hate to take a shot at my own team. The New York Jets end up in situations like this. So I feel like the dam is going to break one way or the other, and we'll have a resolution there. And you either got to make a move for a quarterback or try to mend fences with the one you got now.
And as well built as Baltimore is, other than the quarterback, I could still see this team being competitive, but being competitive in the AFC, I mean, that makes you not a playoff team. That makes you outside of the playoffs by a game, maybe two.
Oh, I'm not even sure it's that close.
Really?
I'm not even sure it's that close. If you told me it was a Tyler Huntley or Hendon Hooker or one of the quarterbacks I've heard attached to them, yeah, that team's 5-12. That's how good the AFC is. I'm not taking a shot. I just told you how good I think the roster is.
Mm-hmm.
That is how big of a swing this is, which is why it will get resolved one way or the other.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. When we come back from the break, it'll be time for Jeremy's banger of the night. We got the national championship game, UConn versus San Diego State. We'll see where Jeremy's leaning on this one.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you can't measure it on your bathroom scale. Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own. You won't find a bipolar disorder by looking at a thermometer. Like many other health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a stick-on bandage. So the sooner you seek treatment, the better. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support. That's samhsa.gov/support.
When you order food for work on EasyCater.com, we've got your back. Real humans are here to help with your order every step of the way, making sure everything goes right, even behind the scenes without you knowing. Confirming and double confirming with the restaurant that everything is on track. If there's a problem,
thanks for calling EasyCater.
Call us anytime, day or night, and we'll answer in seconds. We're right here with 100,000 restaurants, working hard to ensure the food arrives on time and is ordered. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
And now Martha Stewart for Skechers.
When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Coffee's the closer's only. Get him the money! Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
National Title Monday. I completely missed the epic between Florida Atlantic and San Diego State, but so did the officials, so I don't feel so bad. Look to start the week on a winning track with that national title game. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. Yesterday in the NBA was one of the strangest you'll ever see. San Antonio and Portland both won outright as 16.5-plus point underdogs. If you had them both in the money line in a two-leg parlay, a $100 wager would have paid over $12,000. That just reaffirms my point that points are friends, and you should be wary laying big numbers. The NBA takes the night off to give the college guys the spotlight, but returns tomorrow with all but 4 teams in action. But tonight, national title game, Connecticut's a 7-point favorite against San Diego State, over-under 132.5. It is physically impossible for me to pick against Connecticut right now. They've won all 5 games in the tournament by 13 or more and easily covered the spread in all 5. And it's not just the ridiculously efficient offense that's getting it done either. In their last 2, they've held Miami and Gonzaga to their lowest point totals of the season. Tonight may seem like a walk in the park compared to those 2. They take on a San Diego State team that is one of the best in the nation defensively, but really struggles to score at times. But if you dig a little deeper on SDSU, you'll realize that the way they suffocate you defensively is by eliminating the dribble drive. Well, problem with that is UConn doesn't do that very often. They're averaging 20-plus assists a night, which is insanely high in today's college basketball, and their offense is the perfect recipe to frustrate the Aztecs. And once they get the lead, they aren't relinquishing it. Now, that's why I'm picking the way I am, but here's the down and dirty. The over has been really popular because 132.5 is really light for a team that can score like UConn. But if you dig deeper, over 60% of the money is on the under, and Vegas isn't moving the line. That tells me that they're okay with the majority of money being on the under as long as they keep ringing up over tickets. Sharp money is under. I'm going with them. Not because I'm worried about San Diego State stopping Connecticut, but because I'm not sure that they can carry their water and get out of the 50s. As for the game, the Huskies are winning this. Period. I told you this after the Elite Eight, and I've seen nothing to change my mind. This is the best team in America right now, and I don't see that changing tonight. Under 132.5, UConn minus the 7. They easily win what will be a lackluster national title game to watch. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stray shower into the early part of the night tonight. Patchy fog late night. That will roll into the early part of Tuesday. And a warm overnight low. 47 is where we are headed. Going up to around 80 after a mid-60s high on Monday. We'll see mostly sunny skies Tuesday. Increasing clouds Tuesday night. Low around 60. And then stray showers and storms Wednesday. 81 for the high. Cooler Thursday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If your company needs to spring into efficient hiring, then check out Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
The Sportsocracy.
Gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins expected to return to the team early this week, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He's missed 22 games attending to a family matter. He'll provide a crucial boost for Golden State ahead of the playoffs. He'll certainly help defensively, but he's not a cure-all for the defending champs, points out ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
Andrew Wiggins has been out an extended period of time. He's coming back. This is the playoffs already. And it's not no guarantee that the Golden State Warriors are getting into the postseason. So with him coming back, you have to worry about his load management as far as his workload. You have to worry about, is his win going to be right? We can't expect him to come back on elite status.
Kendrick Perkins on NBA Today. The spotlight on Houston tonight for the men's national championship game between Connecticut and San Diego State. UConn is seeking a 5th national title since 1999. The agent for former Georgia defensive lineman Jalen Carter told ESPN's Adam Schefter Carter is only visiting with teams with picks in the top 10 in this month's upcoming NFL draft.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Bills. That's Bills. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
Warning
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. It is a Monday afternoon, and we continue to roll on with our coverage of the Draftmas season here in the Sportsocracy.
We wish you a Merry Draftmas. We wish you a Merry Draftmas. We wish you a Merry Draftmas and a happy next year.
There you go. Yeah, it is time for another top 13. Every position group in the NFL draft at ESPN Draft Nerd. Jeremy Greene giving us his top 13s because he is the most superstitious person on the planet.
It's also my favorite number, and my name's on the door.
You got comments on it, you get them into the YouTube stream. Go to YouTube where you can see us live every time we are here in the Ingles studio. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. That's your ticket into the chat. And it's linebacker day.
Look, I love this class. This is one, and I feel like I say this every time. There are positions that I really don't like. Linebacker ain't one of them. If you need one and you don't come away with one in this draft, you did it to yourself.
Okay. Where do we start? Number 1 linebacker in this class is
Jack Campbell, Iowa. I mean, what more do you really want? He's 6'5", 250, 4.6", 540. Not blazingly fast. It's the best coverage linebacker in this class, which is shocking when you figure out how fast Trenton Simpson and Deion Henley are. And he can get after a quarterback. I mean, that's probably the worst thing he does, but he can do it. I'm not wild about super tall linebackers, which you're going to find to be a little ironic momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at this kid, and I don't see a way he fails. And there's a merit to that in the NFL draft. Off-ball linebacker is not nearly as important as it used to be. And we're seeing a lot of teams that put no stock in this whatsoever. Philadelphia Eagles. They do not take guys in the first round. They rarely take them in the second day. It's a lot of guys like T.J. Edwards. They got Nakobe Dean last year who just fell like a rock because there was so much wear and tear on his body. A lot of teams didn't have as high a grade on him as the rest of us did. And they figure that their secondary is so good and their front four is so good that it mitigates the linebackers. And I just need somebody that can run, tackle, and cover when I ask them to.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Campbell is, to me, almost an older school linebacker.
Right. He's kind of a throwback.
And that sounds weird because one of the best things he does is cover. But he's freakishly athletic. 128-inch broad jump. That's 10.8 from a guy that's 6'5", 250.
That's impressive.
6'7", in the 3-cone, which is like wide receiver fast. Now, he's not going to, in a straight line, beat many high-end playmakers in a foot race, but he just does everything well. And this is, I'm not going to lie, he's one I've bumped up the entire process. And there are two more that will come right behind him that I've talked about more. But if you told me that one of them was going in the first round, I will almost promise you it's Jack Campbell.
Okay, number 2 in the linebacker class.
Trenton Simpson, Clemson. Raw talent, he's the best one in the class. 6'2", 235, 4'4", 340, which I still laugh about every time I say. It's ridiculous for me to see off-ball linebackers running 4.4s. Just, it's so different than when I started doing this. He would have been a safety years ago. He reminds me a lot of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. The only problem is he's not nearly as good in coverage. I think he can be. If you watch his tape from the last year with Brent Venables, it makes sense that I have him at 2. Last year, it didn't go so well. But name me the Clemson Tiger defensive player that it did. Name me one of those guys that you have as high now as you had him a year ago.
And there's not one.
That's because they weren't coached as well. They weren't in a system that they were recruited to be in, and the physical tools on Trenton Simpson are as good as any linebacker you'll ever see. He just never took that next step where he put the speed and the agility and all of these things together. I mean, he was on Bruce Feldman's freak list at 6'2". That's not super common because there's nothing really freakish about his body type. It's just how unbelievably athletic he is. And what do you think he bench presses? I just found this out the other day, and I may have known it. I just put it in the file.
Hit like his max?
Yeah. I mean, this kid's 235 pounds.
I don't know.
6'2".
350.
You're too low. It's 375.
Ooh.
So, I mean, there's just nothing he can't do. I can't get away from him with D'Amico Ryans in Houston because he kind of reminds me of D'Amico Ryans. I like him with the 49er type teams, the Jets, all those teams that run that stereotypical 4-man front, and you need linebackers like Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw that just can do a little bit of everything. Both of those guys had the same knocks coming into the draft that Trenton Simpson has. And I don't see any reason that in the right scenario, we could be talking about him in the same light 2 or 3 years from now. I think somebody's getting a value on him. I'm tired of apologizing for him because I feel like I have to do that every time his name comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was so bad last year. He played slot corner. Okay. Yeah. There are a lot of things that happened at Clemson last year that don't make a whole lot of sense. It's the reason you got a new offensive coordinator, and there were some moving pieces there because it didn't go the way you wanted it to. Doesn't change how talented this kid is.
But again, I feel like it bears repeating in this day and age in the NFL. I want a guy who can play those multiple spots. Is he going to play slot corner in the NFL? No.
Can he?
He could.
He could.
He could.
I don't know how well he's going to do that.
He could probably play some safety as well, kind of that Isaiah Simmons type of guy.
And I feel like he gets compared to him, and it's not an apt comparison.
He's a Clemson guy.
Well, I mean, that's why I hate comps, because it's invariably somebody that's the same height, weight, speed, and went to the same school. They're completely different players. Isaiah Simmons had no position. I know exactly what position Trenton Simpson plays. Is he little? Yeah. I say time and time again, this league's getting smaller and faster every single year.
Number 3.
Speaking of that, Deion Henley, Washington State. 6'1", 225 pounds. And he is a no-doubt linebacker, and he is a really, really, really good tackler. I wish he was better in coverage than he is because he's freakishly athletic. 4'5", 40 at his size. There is nothing that should really keep him from being the next player on this list. Some people are going to go, you have those three ahead of it? Yeah, I do. But because I feel like the three that I've just said can do anything. Is there possibly some talent that you're going to have to pull out of them? Yes. Do any of them do one thing so unbelievably well that they can't really miss? Outside of Jack Campbell, no. I think Campbell's good enough in coverage that even at his worst, he still has a spot in the NFL. Deion Henley doesn't really hang his hat on anything. Now, he got better as a pass rusher last year, which is not saying much because he had been virtually non-existent at that position coming into this. I think he's a weak side linebacker in a 4-3. Probably could play inside in a 3-4 if he absolutely had to. I love the thought of him ending up either with the Seattle Seahawks or the Philadelphia Eagles. Because he can be 3 down, and you might have to work with him if he plays inside in a 3-4. But when you get into nickel situations, I feel like there's a whole nother player in this guy that's going to be unlocked at some point.
Number 4.
This is where you get into a player that he does one thing really, really, really well. Drew Sanders, linebacker out of Arkansas.
See quarterback, get quarterback.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
My problem is that I don't feel like he's going to be drafted to be that guy. When I first evaluated him, I had him as an edge because I didn't think there was any way that teams were going to see what he did at Arkansas and then take away the fact that he was virtually irrelevant at Alabama and not go, but for why? But for why is it so much different? Because you weren't asked to cover anybody. Because you can't. He is one of those that off the snap, you see him lined up and go, I bet I know what he's getting ready to do. He's a good tackler. I never thought he was a great one, but he's a really good pass rusher. And I've had several people in our YouTube comments just rail on me for not loving Drew Sanders. I'm not 100% sure what it is I'm supposed to love. Can he go get after quarterback? Yes. If I put him in the middle of my defense, have I solved my linebacker? I said this exact same thing about Jamin Davis when he came out. And guess what? I have been 100% right. There is a reason that there are people like me that evaluate draft classes and scout these guys and watch the tape. Because just because you're physically freakish, yeah, so was Mike Mamula. So was Vernon Golston. It doesn't mean that you're going to come into this league and just take it by storm. I mean, I like the fact that you got a 6'4", 235-pound linebacker edge-ish guy that can run a 4.5. I'm a fan of that. I'm still confused as to why you weren't better at Alabama than you were. You had one real year of production, and you're still not a very good tackler. That doesn't scream 10-year linebacker to me, and that's why I have him at 4. I mean, his high side's good. The floor is terrifying.
Number 5.
A lot of people probably think this is going to be Noah Sewell, and after the break, I'll tell you why it's not. It's Dorian Williams, linebacker out of Tulane. 6'1", 228, can absolutely fly. Ran a 4.49, and I'm not sure he's not faster than that. He is the coverage linebacker that I expect Deion Henley to be on tape. He doesn't hold up everywhere because he is a little 228. He is a lean, itty-bitty, teeny-tiny 220. And when he comes into the league, I'm not sure that he doesn't just play exclusively on passing downs because I'm not really sure that he can hold up against the run early. Now, you look at his frame, and something we talk about a lot when we're scouting guys like this, can he add bulk to the frame? And I think this kid can. There are some that you look at and go, you're just never going to carry weight the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that here. The problem is that I see him on a field, and he looks like a wide receiver. And he kind of plays like a wide receiver. He's got really good hands. you really do one thing specifically well. I think he can get better in time. He'll probably be I think he'll be a good value at the end of day 2. I think 5 linebackers go in the first 2 days because they have either one skill or they have the potential to have that one skill that you can play them now. And then you get into what we'll do after the break, which is the next 8. And I'm not sure some of these guys are actually good at football, but they're either really fast, they're really strong, or they play like their hair's on fire. The first 5 have the skill to come into the league and contribute right away. The next 8 are probably special teams guys for the next year, and you hope they develop into a role player 2-3 years down the road.
Interesting, because there's some names that have not been mentioned yet that at one time were thought to be possible first-round draft picks.
One of them specifically, and I'll tell you why after the break.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We will be covering every pick of the NFL Draft live. We're just 24 days away.
Oh, it's so good.
We'll be right back.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is time ago, 26 westbound between Chimney Rock Road to approaching Hendersonville Road. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic volume is moving well, busy, and steady. In Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between exit 27 and US 276. Hendersonville Road, no backups. Sweeten Creek Road moving well. And Charlotte Highway, no delays. Tunnel Road, no backups. And Swannanoa River Road moving well. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 breakfast deal. Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is your choice of bacon or sausage, egg and Swiss croissant, plus a small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Break your morning routine and get your $3 breakfast deal today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without. And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage, egg croissant, plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine. Fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte combo orders.
And now Martha Stewart for Skechers.
When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
In a developing story, we've learned that after decades of service to boys and girls everywhere, the Easter Bunny has stepped down. He has identified his replacement as a local rabbit who has been seen frequenting area Ingles markets in recent days. He has been stocking up on Ingles Easter candy, holiday hams, farm fresh eggs, and Easter lilies and balloons. And they also say that Easter magic indeed starts at Ingles.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
That's right, on a national championship night here in the Sportsocracy. It's Draftmas season. That's the A number one.
You want us to break down? Hey, UConn's going to beat San Diego State to death. End of analysis.
Sideways. In the Draftmas season, though, we are going through all of the position groups, ranking Flostradamus's top 13 at every position. Today, it's linebackers. Not a great position of prestige in the NFL, but if you're really good at it, you could make a name for yourself.
And you get some good depth in this class. You mentioned before the break that there are a couple names you had probably expected to hear, and you hadn't.
Top 5, the Butkus Award winner of this past season from Iowa, Jack Campbell's number 1 for Jeremy Greene. Trenton Simpson at 2, Deion Henley 3, Drew Sanders 4, Dorian Williams at 5. There are 2 that come to mind that I have seen in first rounds throughout this process.
Is one of them Henry To'o?
Yep, that's one.
Well, he's 6.
Okay, number 6, Henry To'o from the Alabama Crimson Tide, formerly Tennessee Volunteers.
My thing is that, okay, so what does he do well? He's good. He's good against the run. Not great.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will be a decent 2-down linebacker in the NFL. I'm not sure. My problem with it, I never had him in the first round. My problem with him is that I don't think he ever is good enough in coverage consistently, unless he's next to somebody that's just really good at it, to be 3-down. And
he's not a good enough tackler to be that stalwart,
fine.
100-tackle guy in the middle.
He's fine. And his feet are good. It's not typically that he's out of position. I don't know if it's mental lapses. I don't really know what it is. And he's not athletic enough to make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good, not great linebacker that should go probably beginning of day 3. He's a little undersized for me. It never popped for me. His best year to me was 2 years ago. And it always scares me with Alabama players of, he needs to get better. And Nick Saban could get out of him. Okay. I'm going to say it's probably not there.
All right, at number 7.
Not the one you were looking for. DeMarvion Overshown.
Yep, that wasn't the one I was looking for.
Linebacker out of Texas. He's a really good pass rusher. Freakishly athletic. I don't know. He is if I could combine Henry To'o and DeMarvion Overshown into the same player, they would probably be a first-round pick. I can't. Because Overshown's not a great tackler, and size is going to be a bit of a problem. He's 229 pounds at 6'3". So it's not even like he's just a squatty linebacker that he's not a little bulked it. No, he's thin, like rail thin. And so much of his game is predicated on how fast he is and how athletic he is that I don't want to add bulk to that. I want you to continue being what you are. And I like the game. It's not a 3-down linebacker to me. And I think he will struggle to be that in the NFL.
Okay. Brings us to number 8.
Still not the one that you probably think of.
Good night. What has happened?
Owen Papo out of Auburn. This kid is ridiculously fast. 4.39, he broke the combine. 6 foot, 225. The thing that blows my mind about him is how good of a tackler he is. He may end up being a slot corner in the NFL, and I'm serious. That is how small he is. The problem is that he does not hold up against the run at all. And so I feel like I almost feel like he's a situational coverage guy. Could end up being a safety depending on what team picks him. But, he's got a role in this league. This kid's going to play special teams early, and you're going to love him because he'll be the first one down, and he may kill a punt returner if they're stupid enough to not fair catch it. Because he is, he's cornerback fast as linebacker. But like I said,
he'd be a big dang corner.
Not really.
Really?
That'd be a thick corner.
I was going to say,
But
at
I'll be-
225?
But I'll be honest with you, he's another one of those that I think he gained 10 pounds to go to the combine. At least. It might have been more than that. He was built like a corner. He did hold up in the SEC, though, so there might be more than you thought.
Number 9.
You think surely.
It's got to be now.
D. Winters, linebacker out of TCU. Don't worry. The guy that you're wanting me to say is
Why do you
coming
hate
next.
this guy?
It's not that I hate him.
We'll get to it. So tell us about Winters.
And Winters, if you take away the national title game, you don't really want to don't want to go down that rabbit hole. He's another one that's small, but he can actually get after quarterbacks. He's a developmental piece to the highest degree, but the fact he's so athletic tells me that there is something that I could get out of him. It's just probably going to take some time.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as good in coverage as I want him to be either. And so this is where you get into like 5th round. I took a linebacker that is just a real athletic guy. Not a ton that screams, hey, he's going to be a great impact player right now. But if you coach him up, he could be in time.
Mm-hmm. And a potential leader in the locker room. That's one thing that I have heard about him is his ability to be the voice in the locker room.
Look, everybody at TCU just waxes poetic about him, how he's phenomenal. Just got some physical limitations. I mean, he's 5'11".
Well, now, surely Noah Sewell is in the top 10.
It's 10.
What has happened to make him
People
fall
started
off
watching
this
him.
much?
People started watching him. I mean, that's all there is to it. What does he do really well? I'll wait. I mean, because I don't have anything.
Okay.
Oh, he's a great pass rusher. Yeah, he was a great pass rusher in the Pac-12. He's not – he's fine at virtually everything. I don't think he is athletic enough in the NFL to do what he did at Oregon. If he had played in the SEC, I probably would not judge him so harshly, but he didn't play against – I mean, I could probably kind of want to hand the number of high-level prospects he played against. So, I mean, he can get home from time to time. He has complete just mind lapses in coverage that are hard to wrap your head around with somebody that played as much as he did. I mean, he has a role in the league. I never saw him as a first rounder. I didn't really ever see him as more than a low-end second rounder. And as the process has gone along, you've had guys that athletically have shown me, hey, there's probably something to be had there. And so I just keep pushing Noah Sewell down because I don't necessarily know that there is.
Yeah, there was a big expectation this past year that Noah Sewell was going to be, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year guy. It was just going to be racking up stats left and right, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm not wild about him.
And maybe a lot of that has to do with the name. You've seen so
that
many.
Didn't help.
Yeah, right. You've seen so many Sewells, and obviously he is the brother of Penei Sewell, who was, famously should have been a draft pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. That's our biggest miss. I would say, is that safe to say? In our years of doing this together, that's probably the one that we agreed on the most. That we went, okay, we should have. Yeah, we should have done that better.
You know what? They did pretty good there.
They didn't do too bad. But Noah. He was expected to be a star, and I just don't think it didn't come to fruition in his last season at Oregon. Number 11.
I almost had this guy over him because the more I watch him, the more I like him. It's just so developmental. Ivan Pace Jr. out of Cincinnati. He's 5'10". 5'10" and about as thick as he can be and still play in this league. But he does run about a 4.5. He's so raw. He's a really good pass rusher. It's just physical limitations are going to get him. I think your worst case scenario, he's a really good special team player for a really long time. But he strikes me as a New England Patriot. Somehow Bill will take him in the 3rd round. Everybody will go, oh, but what? And then 2 years from now, he's a really good pass rusher. That's what he does.
Number 12.
This is one that I've liked more and more the more I've watched him. And it might just be because he's the only one that's of a grown-up size that's in this range. Aubrey Miller Jr. out of Jackson State. 6'2", 230. Now, his are physical limitations that are his speed because he's really slow. But now you put him against to me, this is the perfect compliment to Jamin Davis. He's a really good tackler, does everything well, but there are times he gets just completely run away from because he's not as athletically gifted, but he's got the body frame to hold up. If you could find a way to speed him up just a bit, and how you're going to do that, I really don't know. But if you ever could, then you would have quite a little football player on your hands.
All right, finally for at ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene's top 13 of linebackers in the 2023 NFL Draft.
You know, I always throw out one smaller school guy here that we have never talked about, and this one is near and dear to my heart because he plays very close to here, and his name is Nick Hampton, Appalachian State. He's a true throwback of just chase and tackle kind of linebacker. I don't know that he's ever going to be – I don't know that he will ever be skilled enough, but he strikes me as a player that winds up with the Cincinnati Bengals. And 2 years from now, you look at him and go, man, how did we miss on him? Because he's really good in this scheme. He was one of the low-level freaks on Bruce Feldman's freak list. He was one of those that was like others receiving votes of, hey, he's a freak too. 21 miles an hour. He was clocked on a radar gun.
Wow.
He plays faster than he ran. 4.58. That's one of the reasons that he hasn't seen the surge is because we thought he was going to put up that just crazy combine. He didn't do it. But I think some team will take him probably late 5, early 6. And could be a tremendous steal. Got a very high ceiling. Pretty low floor, though, too.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Again, we will be covering, of course, all of the draft this season and the NFL Draft. Each and every pick live from the Ingles Studio in just 24 days. When we come back from the break, it'll be time to get weird and another set of draft needs for each and every team in the NFL Draft. Talk about the Cleveland Browns.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stray shower into the early part of the night tonight. Patchy fog late night. That will roll into the early part of Tuesday. And a warm overnight low. 47 is where we are headed. Going up to around 80 after a mid-60s high on Monday. We'll see mostly sunny skies Tuesday. Increasing clouds Tuesday night. Low around 60. And then stray showers and storms Wednesday. 81 for the high. Cooler Thursday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 26 westbound between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slow between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between exit 27 and US 276. On the Smoky Park Highway, no backups. Patton Avenue incident-free. New Leicester Highway, no problems. Checking the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher via Hendersonville Road southbound. Drive time 20 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has everything you need to travel, from passport photos to luggage, and now get 20% off your in-store purchase when you buy any travel service. Plus 80-count Lysol wipes are just $1.99. In-store only. Offer ends 4/8. Exclusions apply. Get all set to jet at Staples.
Everybody is buzzing about Yellow Jackets on Showtime, including the cast.
This season will blow your mind. I actually dropped to the floor. Kind of freaky, kind of gory, and it's a little bit funny.
It's endlessly fascinating. I think people are going to freak out when they see that.
It's going to be real fun. If I wasn't on this show, I'd be watching just as fiercely.
This season of Yellow Jackets is wild. If you haven't watched the show yet, get to it!
Yellow Jackets, new episodes streaming now, only on Showtime. And now, stream Showtime on Paramount+.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
This is the Sportsocracy, and let's get weird. We're going to go to Japan for this one today because the Japanese, I mean, they are on the brink of some just technological advances that we just don't understand in this country. Vending machines, very popular in Japan. They got vending machines everywhere, and they sell every little thing from, bugs that you can eat, all the way to hot dogs and pizza and things like that. It's not really a thing that we do here in America all that much. You don't see too many weird things in vending machines. There's one that's become surprisingly popular in the northern part of Japan. The northern prefecture of Akita has, at the train station, a vending machine that sells bear meat. You can get 8 ounces of bear meat, just over 8 ounces. It's 250 grams, which is almost 9 ounces of bear meat for the equivalent of $16.50. Sounds like an expensive snack, but if you think about it, I mean, 9 ounces of bear meat, I mean, that's essentially a meal. And I have to ask the question, Jeremy?
Out. I don't even have to ask.
Never. Have you ever done it? Have you ever had bear meat?
What do you think?
I'm just curious.
My wife made a duck the other night and went, "You like duck?" And I went, "Yeah, Daffy. I don't want to eat him."
No bear meat.
No, I'm a very simple man.
I like bear meat. Bear meat's good. It's a little gamey, but it's very good.
Anything you tell me is a little gamey, or when I tell you I don't like it and you immediately say, "Well, you've never had it prepared correctly," I'm out. All right? Because you know what nobody's ever said about, I don't know, steak or chicken or pork, any of the normal things? "Well, you've never had it prepared correctly." No, it's just good, all right? A little butter, a little salt, a little pepper, good.
Bear meat, very popular in northern Japan, and so thus the idea for the vending machine, but it's apparently been so successful, or more successful than they ever thought it would be. So now they're looking at expanding their bear meat vending machines. I feel like this is something that we should have here.
That's a horrible idea.
No. I mean, come on.
Would you eat a steak out of a vending machine? You probably would. You eat gas station hot dogs.
Maybe not. I mean, is
know
packaged
your
up
audience.
like beef jerky? Can I get some bear jerky from the vending machine?
Your doctor must look at you and just go, retirement plan.
Because
Because eventually you're just going to explode.
that's why I am now on a new statin medication for my cholesterol.
I am not surprised. My story is about Sarah Jacqueline King. She's a 39-year-old attorney from Newport Beach, California. She is in a whole mess of trouble because she owns something called LDR International Limited. What that is basically a front for her fraud. She was, actually, LDR was the lender. She owned King Lending. Apologies, I read the story backwards.
Okay.
What King Lending was a fictitious company where basically she was extending loans to people, but in all of the loan documents, she redacted the name. And apparently, LDR International didn't really care and just kept giving her money to the tune of $10.2 million.
Whoa.
Do you know what she used it for?
Crimes.
Yep. Luxury automobiles, boats, yachts, jewelry, watches, valuable coins, and other things. As she used professional athletes in these two when they went. But wait a minute, who are these people? She started going high-end professional athletes to justify her loans. Here's what she was actually doing. According to the complainant, she was living at the Wynn in Las Vegas. And it's not working. They said she was in the casino 24/7. Lost somewhere between $6 and $7 million in 6 months.
Yikes.
But I'm not done.
I mean, I guess you could stomach that if it's not your money.
So apparently when she got caught, she had an interesting explanation. Said her husband made her do it. That's
Okay.
She's countersuing her husband in a civil claim right now to recoup what she owes the people she defrauded because she said he was the one that came up with the idea of we could just gamble the money back. It was called a rambling, nonsensical claim that belongs on reality television. And it doesn't appear that that's going to work. But it's a very interesting, well, my husband made me do it. Has that ever worked in the history of the U.S. judicial system? No. Stop. How in the world do you defraud a loan company out of $10 million? You need to look at your practices a little closer, LDR International.
I don't think there's any way around that. By the way, don't do crimes.
Oh, I have another one that's crimes. Have no fear. A lot of crime stories percolating this week.
This is the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. We continue our look at the NFL draft, as I said, coming up in just 24 days. Going through each and every team in the NFL, talking about their needs in the upcoming draft. And let's talk about the Cleveland Browns.
Well, they have to wait a while.
They have to wait, but they do have quite a few picks later in the draft. They got a couple of third-rounders, a couple of fourth-rounders, a couple of fifth-rounders. So you got at least you don't have the 1 and the 2. As obvious from the Deshaun Watson trade with the Houston Texans, but you do have a lot of capital behind that.
Well, you also got Elijah Moore earlier this year from my New York Jets.
So you can add a lot of depth to this team.
I don't see a ton of needs on this team.
There aren't a lot.
I mean, I feel like your biggest need was a defensive coordinator, and well, you did that because you have entirely too much talent on this defense to be as bad as you were last year. The biggest need I had coming into the offseason was you got to find somebody that can stop the run. Did you overpay Dalvin Tomlinson to be that guy? Yeah, probably. But there weren't a ton of them out there. This was a really bad free agency class. And now I'm just looking around going, you don't have a ton of needs. The offensive line is good. I love that you added Elijah Moore. I think you're going to absolutely love him. And I'm just going to silently sit back and be really sad as we replace him with Odell Beckham Jr. I'm already getting tired of this as a Jets fan. I'm already getting tired of it, and it hasn't even happened yet.
So where would you add depth?
You need a safety because Grant Delpit is exactly who I tried to tell you he was. He's just not very good at this. Now, I will say I think Juan Thornhill was a nice addition in that him being on the other side of Grant Delpit will mitigate him to a certain extent. But I look at a guy like Jamie Robinson out of Florida State, and I feel like that's just a perfect combo. Delpit is, if you see him in the lobby of the hotel, you go, man, that guy's a football player. And then you watch him on the field and go, that guy's drunk. Like, he's actively still drunk from last night because he has absolutely no idea where he's going. And every once in a while, he'll fall into an interception, and it's almost like it surprises him. Like, I was here. I did it. And then he just gets smoked. Like, oh, yeah, you're bad at this.
But you have said that this is not a good safety draft.
Oh, no, this is a god-awful safety.
And so in the third round, if that's going to be your top priority.
75, 99, somewhere in there. One of those two picks I would be. Because, yes, it's bad at the top, but then you get into the Sidney Browns and the Jamie Robinsons. And there are players that can play in this league. It's just very specific scheme fits.
You're just not going to get a star to unseat Grant Delpit right
No,
away.
and you know, I'm going to say this. Brandon Joseph. That's another one that I've looked at with his team and just gone, you know, he's falling like a rock, and I'm not really sure I understand why. But I would love him on this team. I mean, he's not Kyle Hamilton, and I think it's the standard he's being held to. But that was always kind of stupid. He transferred from Northwestern, went to Notre Dame, and all of a sudden he became the source of all of their problems, which doesn't make a lick of sense to me. But that would be a nice addition for them. Other pieces, I mean, I always want another edge. You know, I don't know how good that's going to be at where you pick because they don't pick until the middle of the third round. There are some developmental guys that you can get down there. Isaiah Land. That's one I'm going to say his name 2,500 times in the next 24 days. That's where I would be looking to go. I would also like to add another running back if you're not going to bring back Kareem Hunt. Of which, is any running back going to get another deal? Between Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, all these guys are just sitting out there going, hey, I'm still good at this game.
Not until it's absolutely necessary.
Well, I mean, if you have a child that plays football, don't let them play running back. Your career outlook is just severely diminished. Severely diminished.
Mm-hmm.
You're in better shape as a high-end punter at this point than as a running back. So that's something, I mean, I had them taking Tyjae Spears because I think he's a nice fit. I mean, could they wait and take somebody like Deuce Vaughn? Yeah. I have no qualm with that. I mean, look, they've got a good number of picks. They're just all late. But you've done a great job of not having to do anything. I don't see one just screaming need on this entire team.
No.
Do you?
Safety. That's the only one.
Yeah, I do.
And
always,
I was a Grant Delpit guy.
Yeah, and I tried to tell you.
I mean, we argued a lot about Grant Delpit
Yeah,
when he came out.
Yeah.
But I've been proven to be wrong on that one. And so, I to me, he is the weakest link on the defense. Because I like everything else that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Getting Okoronkwo from Houston.
That's one of the home runs of the offseason.
Him across from Myles Garrett is going to be phenomenal.
I still
like
feel
the way
like
this
you need
team
another.
is built, and I think bringing in Jim Schwartz was just a home run.
And that was the next place I was going to go. Is I feel like you need to bring in the developmental defensive tackle because Perry and Winfrey has been shown to be exactly what we tried to tell you he was. He's a 3-4 end.
Mm-hmm.
He's too little. You cannot put him in the middle of a defense because big offensive linemen just eviscerate him.
And he'll barely get any playing time with Myles Garrett and Okoronkwo in front of him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even know that you can play him at end at this point. He looks like a small child on the field of NFL players.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually kind of liked him. I did not like the fit here, if you recall.
Yep.
But then I'd try to add a linebacker. Just some depth pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I think, is there a team in the NFL that you think that will take a bigger leap next year than the Cleveland Browns? I feel like a lot of them already did.
On paper, no.
Well, I mean, the Lions and the Jaguars, they took the big leap this year. I mean, and I think there's another leap coming for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns, we knew with 5 weeks left in the season, you're not making the playoffs.
Right.
But now you get the full offseason with Watson. Now you've got legit weapons. Somehow you've wound up with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore for less than the Bears gave up for Chase Claypool.
Mm-hmm. And
that's my new bar.
And add the greatest wide receiver of all time to that group, DPJ.
You mean the irrelevant one? Here's the third one. We have 2 really talented ones, and Tank wants to talk about the one that's not very good.
Because he's awesome. You'll see it. One of these days, you'll see it.
I've got Auden Tate. You've got him. That's fine.
Right. That's right. No, there are no gaping holes to me for the Cleveland Browns. And it's all about adding depth. And you've got the perfect you got the perfect amount of draft capital to be able to do that with 2/3, 2/4, 2/5.
I mean, and this is a good draft for that. In our YouTube chat, DNA Tooth podcast said this is a god-awful draft for everything except tight end and edge. And I can't agree with that. It's bad at the high side. in that there's not super elite talent, but then there is a huge number of guys based on my rating system, you got a lot of guys that could be rotational players that start about where Cleveland's capital kicks in, and then they have 5 picks in that range.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add some value. Are you going to have to get a little bit lucky? Yeah. Because I don't know how many Pro Bowlers you're pulling out of day 2 or day 3 here.
Yep.
But there's talent in this
It's been
class.
mentioned a couple of times in the YouTube comments here. Quarterback. Do they draft a backup quarterback to Deshaun Watson? They got Josh Dobbs on the team. I think Kellen Mond's still on this team as well.
He is.
So
you remember when we talked about him?
You don't have a backup that you're like, yeah, let's play that guy.
Do you remember when we talked about Kellen Mond for like a long time? Mm-hmm. And I kept saying, what on earth are you people seeing? He can throw a ball 70 yards. So could Jamarcus Russell.
That pro day tape was awesome.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, for me, I would like them to have a veteran backup. I mean, and that could be Josh Dobbs. I don't know that I would go into the season with I think they're going in with what they've got. Mm-hmm. They think Dobbs is the 2, Kellen Mond's the developmental 3.
Yep.
I want to add 2 pieces of that defensive line. I would like another developmental receiver, linebacker, and just a couple other pieces outside of that safety.
Yep. A lot hinges on, of course, again, we'll say it, Deshaun Watson. What is this next year going to look like? Is he going to reclaim the Houston Magic? I think he will. I think he will. I'm still holding out hope that he will return to form.
And DNA Tooth Podcast elaborated on his. The quality of players. We went from a class with Micah, Jamar, Waddle, Slater, and Sewell to Jordan Addison and Jack Campbell. You're not wrong, okay? I didn't say you were wrong, per se. Olave and Garrett Wilson to Josh Downs and Zay Flowers. See, now, when you say it like that, then yeah, that's – but it's Christmas season! We're having fun! It's fun!
Yes. Cleveland Browns, big season on the horizon for them. They've got all the talent in the world. Let's just see if this coaching staff can put together a winner that can threaten in the much more crowded AFC. It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is time ago. 26 westbound approaching Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound delays between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slowing again east of Long Shoals Road to Airport Road. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between exit 27 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound near Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with savings on select PCs powered by the latest 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Plus, get deals on select accessories and free shipping on everything. Save now by calling 877-ASK-DELL.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
If you're shopping for Easter, Kohl's is unmatched. To prep for the celebrations, I treated myself to a few Sephora beauty must-haves. Plus, I found great basket stuffers for my girls and got an extra 40% off cute outfits for them to wear to Sunday brunch and all spring long. Oh, and I earned Kohl's Cash. So, take it from me. You need to hop over to Kohl's right now. Select styles. Offer ends April 8th. Sephora coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Just a couple of moments left in the 4 o'clock hour here, top of the 3 o'clock or top of the third hour of the program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Missed it by that much.
Hey, it's like daylight savings time, right? Let's just turn the clock back an hour. The daily draft will be coming up at the top of the next hour. Stock up, stock down from the weekend.
We got a lot to unpack there.
We do. Just a reminder, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all of our team-by-team 3-round mock drafts.
Got 4 or 5 more of them coming out tonight. I thank all of you for checking those out over the weekend. I spent half of my weekend asleep and the other half answering YouTube comments. And I'm still not even close to done.
And a good portion of it, watching Wrestlemania.
Oh, no, I didn't. It wasn't a good portion of it. I watched the last match on Saturday night, and then
that was it. Okay.
Yeah, that was the only thing I saw Saturday night. We tried a new restaurant. We were out doing stuff. That was actually the only time we really left the house or the general vicinity of the house. And then Brian Haynes convinced me to watch the second night, and I went, "This sucks! Why is every one of these worse than the next one?"
Yeah, the second night did suck. It was like the best possible scenario on night 1, worst possible scenario on night 2 for WrestleMania.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
You tried your spot with Shane McMahon, he got hurt. You tried the Hell in the Cell thing with Edge and Finn Balor.
Yeah, I mean, literally.
That didn't go well.
Yeah, he has an axe mark in his head. If you didn't see the Shane McMahon thing, let me reenact it for you. It started with, "Here comes the money, there goes the money. Money, 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 money."
It is the Sportsocracy. We've got another draft team needs coming up in the next hour. We'll talk about the San Francisco 49ers, plus the stock up, stock down from the weekend. And, hey, maybe we'll talk some golf, too, because it's Masters Week.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stray shower into the early part of the night tonight. Patchy fog late night. That will roll into the early part of Tuesday. And a warm overnight low. 47 is where we are headed. Going up to around 80 after a mid-60s high on Monday. We'll see mostly sunny skies Tuesday. Increasing clouds Tuesday night. Low around 60. And then stray showers and storms Wednesday. 81 for the high. Cooler Thursday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel.
This is your Time Saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is time ago, 26 westbound approaching Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound delays between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slowing again east of Long Shoals Road. to Airport Road. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between exit 27 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound near Mills Gap Road, is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A champion will be crowned tonight in Houston. Connecticut and San Diego State meet up in the men's national title game. The Huskies have won their 5 NCAA tourney games this year by double digits. The underdog Aztecs, who've needed a couple of comebacks to get this far, have to do a couple of things if they're going to deny UConn a 5th national championship, explains ESPN's LaFonso Ellis.
One, they have to keep UConn out of transition. They're absolutely explosive in transition to the rim, or you have several guys who are knocking down threes, including Jordan Hawkins in transition. And then secondly, they have to create some offense off of their defense. And then finally, they've got to get some easy ones on the offensive glass as well.
LaFonso Ellis on Fitz and Harry. NBA Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins, who played a big part of Golden State's championship run last season, is expected to return to the team early this week, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He's missed 22 games attending to a family matter. The agent for former Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter told ESPN's Adam Schefter that Carter will only visit with teams picking in the top 10 in this month's NFL draft.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We're seen everywhere on YouTube. All you got to do is go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you can join us in the chat. Of course, subscribing also puts right there in your feed next to watch videos. Going to be all of the team-by-team 3-round mock drafts that started going out over the weekend.
Now we got 5 more of those going out today. The Green Bay Packers, the Washington Commanders, the New England Patriots, the Arizona Cardinals, and my New York Jets.
24 days away from the NFL draft, and we'll have every pick covered live here in the Ingles studio, specifically and solely on the YouTubes. Now,
which means we can say the dirty words, which I'm a big fan of. A lot of people were commenting on your performance in last year's draft.
What about it?
You and Mr. Tito's having a good old time.
Yeah.
Tank got to a point where he went, this is a great pick by the Tampa Bay Bandits.
Look, there's only so much you can do, for me anyway, when you get into the 4th round of Are we still doing this?
Of course we're
But
still
for
doing
why?
this. Of course we're still doing this.
But for why are we talking about Cordell Flott?
Every single after every pick, he's looking at me going, "What? Are you gonna lock me up, Andy? This is where I sleep at night."
It's always a fun time during the NFL draft coverage, and yes, we will have every pick covered for you live once again this year. Now, the daily draft, top of the third hour, we always do this, and on a Monday, it's always stock up, stock down from the weekend. I've got the first pick. And I feel like there's one overall winner from the weekend. We talked about it some at the top of the program. It's got to be women's basketball.
No doubt.
Because I heard zero talk about the men's Final Four.
Because it was awful.
Right. UConn came out and blistered Miami. You had the controversial ending between Florida Atlantic and San Diego State.
Yeah, and the controversy was that we stopped calling fouls for 2 solid minutes.
Right. While there may not have been much intrigue for you before the women's Final Four, once South Carolina lost, I felt like that kind of ginned up some interest.
I think there was interest going in, but you had the what I would argue is the best college basketball player in America playing for Iowa, and yes, I mean men's or women's, going up against a super team. And that, I'll be honest with you, it's one of the best college basketball games I've watched in a long time.
Congratulations to the LSU Tigers for coming out as the national champions from this year, beating Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes 102-85.
Which, by the way, would be the highest scoring game in the men's tournament, too. Just throwing that out there.
Yes. I mean, I hate that all of the talk at the end of it was about the John Cena move from Angel Reese.
Well, it's just it's what we do. The thing that irks me is that media gets a bad rap for a lot of things that are, I'm going to say I don't see it, and I'm a member of it. So I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. I just don't see it. Then you get something like this that's a talking point because it really makes some people angry, and it really, on both sides of the ledger. And so we harp on it, and to me, it really takes away from the game. I said this off the jump. That was the impetus for this show, is that I don't want to talk about the external things. There's plenty of shows that do that. If that's what you're after, plenty of shows for you to find. I would much rather talk about the games and things like that. And these were, in large part, really good games. That's the takeaway to me.
Yeah.
It's not what Angel Reese did. It's not what Caitlin Clark did. It's what they did on the court with the basketball, not everything else.
More eyeballs on this women's tournament than ever has been before. So we shall see if that's sustainable. Women's basketball, is it getting a foothold with the de-evolution of the men's game?
Well, it's
it
ironic
looks
you
like
said
the
that.
women's game is taking a step up.
Well, it's ironic that you said that because my big loser of the weekend was the men's Final Four. The first game was excellent for 38 minutes. The last two were horribly officiated, and it really put a damper on what was a great game to me. And then I looked at the reactions. And I realized very quickly that nobody cared. Nobody cared. It was like the 19th trending thing on Twitter. I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but it's very indicative of what people are talking about. And it just doesn't resonate. So from here on out, every single year when you fill out your bracket and you say, I want to see Cinderella. No, you don't. You do for a day, maybe for a weekend. They get into the second weekend, you want them to go bye-bye. Because I haven't seen the ratings number yet, but I promise you it's abysmal.
Terrible.
I guarantee you it is abysmal. It's just not interesting.
In any given year, whether my team is in it or any team that I have an attachment to is in it, I'm always watching. This was the first year where I went, I don't really care.
Common Sense Ain't Common had a great point earlier of if you had to If you held a gun to my head and made me tell you a name of somebody in the men's Final Four, we would have been having a wake for me 3 days later. We do this for a living. I couldn't have gotten beyond 8, and I gamble this sport aggressively. I told you after the Elite Eight, there's no shot anybody but UConn wins this.
Mm-hmm.
I had a large ticket on Creighton that I sold out before they ever played in the Elite Eight. Because it's just blatantly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get these cute little mid-majors. Well, this is the greatest team in the history of the program. Well, that's awesome. I have to wash my hair. Because I don't care. There's nothing about this that is riveting to me. And this game tonight, I'm telling you right now, is going to be a bloodletting.
Mm-hmm.
You think the number on the 2 over the weekend was bad? Wait till you see what tonight is. Because we're going into this, Vegas couldn't set this number high enough. I got a couple of friends that are odds makers in Vegas. They both told me, I'd love to set this at 15 because I think they beat them by 40.
Wow.
But I can't set it that high.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to get their money back on you with the over, though. That's why that number is so low, because they may not come close to it.
Okay. All right. For your second stock up, stock down.
I really hate to do this, but I'm going to. Second winner was the WWE. In one weekend, you had one really great night of WrestleMania. That, by the way, can we stop doing that in 2 nights? It doesn't need 2 nights.
No.
There were at least 6 matches there that you could just Brock Lesnar against the giant human who I'm pretty sure runs the 40 in about 19 seconds.
Oh, Omos?
Sure. We could do without that. It was just genuinely horrible. But being bought by the parent company of UFC, it opens up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It opens up a lot that puts more Dwayne The Rock Johnsons and John Cena's into the public landscape. And no matter how you feel about that, that's good for their brand. Because see, the problem is that I had a lot of people, me included, that said, I haven't watched this in however many years. I saw everything from 5 to 25. And then you get in there and you go, I know like 5 of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is Logan Paul, that is not a positive. He's good.
I don't know. He is good. I mean, I went into it thinking, Logan Paul.
Here's my question. Would you watch him against somebody you don't know?
No.
This is where it died to me, because Seth Rollins was one of the only ones I knew.
Not right now. I wouldn't right now. But if he keeps doing it, he keeps climbing the ladder, which I don't see any reason why they shouldn't.
Well, according to what I read, his deal's done. And he's now reevaluating his... I'm so palled out. I need a...
Does it irk you that they're actually decent athletes? Is that what irks you about it?
No, what irks me is they're like the living embodiment of everything I hate about modern society. And I don't even care that I sounded like Abe Simpson right there.
You did.
It's this, oh, look, I'm a social media influencer. But for why? You've never actually contributed anything in your life until now. One of them's a decent boxer. I don't think good.
He's all right.
The other one is a decent wrestler. Mm-hmm. It was entertaining.
I think he's a little more than decent. I really do. I think he's good, and with the right push and some training, if he wants to continue to do it, he could go pretty far. He could be the next champ. They made The Miz the champ, for God's sakes, 18 times.
Yeah, that's the guy that got flattened by Pat McAfee, right?
And Snoop Dogg.
And was on Real World.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
You kind of lose me at, I'm famous because I was on the Real World. There are children that are driving cars right now going, the hell's the Real World?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
That's
going to make
that?
they stopped doing that a long time. When MTV went, it's MTV. We're not making a whole lot of money right now.
Yeah. All right, I got a stock down for the weekend, and
here comes the money.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes the money.
It started out so well. So when they did the spot on night 2, so Miz was the host, Snoop Dogg was the co-host of WrestleMania. First night they did the spot with Pat McAfee.
Which was awesome.
Right, where Pat McAfee comes in and, has an impromptu match with The Miz.
Pat McAfee, better wrestler than Logan Paul. Not really all that close.
I think it's close. I do think it's close. I would like to see a match between the two of them.
Ian.
Mm-hmm.
That I would watch.
Absolutely.
Solely because I want to watch Pat McAfee fake kick him right in the face.
Right. So they did the spot surprise matchup with The Miz and Pat McAfee on night 1. Then they were going to do the same thing on night 2, where just random guy and the Shane O'Mac music hits.
That's Vince McMahon's kid, if you don't know who that is.
Yeah, and he comes out and he's got all the fire of 1,000 suns. He's doing the little shuffle dance Woo! He does where he spins his arm and he's like, "Yeah, look at me." It looked good for 17 seconds.
And then
he
realized he was 53 years old.
He gets in the ring, throws a couple of punches on The Miz, throws him against the ropes. He comes back. He tries to hurdle over his head. Did it well. Good jump. Landing, not so much.
Yeah.
Instantly blew out his knee, and they could not continue. So then this is actually stock down for Shane-O because he got hurt, and then also stock down for the WWE because their panic move was, hey, let's see if Snoop Dogg can go in here and punch out The Miz.
By the way, that's how that was. I don't think that was an audible. That's how that was always ending.
I don't think so.
I 100% promise you it was.
No.
That is exactly how that was going to end.
They were like, we just got to skip to the end.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Because you can see him on the side going, uh-oh. Because as soon as Shane landed, it went full Step Brothers of, oh, there's blood everywhere. Why did you let us do that?
I mean, if that was the plan, if they were gonna have Snoop Dogg in the match anyway, how about this? How about practice a little bit? Because he didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He did the people's elbow thing, and it was awful.
It's fine. It was Snoop Dogg.
It was terrible.
In the words of Reese Bobby, he was probably high. Okay? Like, just being honest here.
Still think Snoop Dogg's people's elbow was still better than the entire Intercontinental Championship match.
That is the one I vehemently disagree with.
That was the most boring match I've seen. Well, until Bianca Belair and Asuka.
Oh, no, the most boring was, hey, look, Brock Lesnar's a really good athlete, and we put him in here with a giant. Can the giant do anything? No. But eventually he's going to pick him up, and people are going to go, oh, look how great an athlete Brock Lesnar is. No kidding. He was a UFC champion. He played in the NFL. We got it, okay? Right. We're good.
Right. So, yeah, stock down for Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon. It was going to be, I guess they were setting this up as maybe the last time that Shane-O was going to get to do this.
Certainly be the last time.
With the company changing hands and all of that. Maybe they were not going to have so many spots with McMahon family members. And didn't work out. Didn't work out for him. All right, my next stock up we'll give you after the break right here on ESPN Asheville. And it's going to be something that I really feel like is going to make Jeremy look at the top of his brain. He'll be rolling those eyes all the way back in his head.
Oh, this will be good.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is crawling. Future 26 westbound between 240 and New Stock Road due to an accident. One lane closed. 26 on the westbound side slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between exit 27 and US 276. Merriman Avenue northbound is stop and go between Spears Avenue and Beaver Dam Road. Again, Merriman Avenue northbound is stop and go between the Beaver Lake area and New Stock Road. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Ricardo, quote, "This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I know this may sound like I'm exaggerating, but this sucker is amazing. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe what came out of my sinuses. I could breathe with ease. My wife just bought one too. Thank you for this product," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
In a developing story, we've learned that after decades of service to boys and girls everywhere, the Easter Bunny has stepped down. He has identified his replacement as a local rabbit who has been seen frequenting area Ingles markets in recent days. He has been stocking up on Ingles Easter candy, holiday hams, farm fresh eggs, and Easter lilies and balloons. And they also say that Easter magic indeed starts at Ingles.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. We're in the midst of the daily draft, stock up, stock down from the weekend. My first stock up was the women's Final Four. Jeremy's first stock down was the men's Final Four. Then he gave props to the WWE for WrestleMania weekend, although night 2 was awful. Night 1 was good enough to carry it all. And then I had to go Shane O'Mac. Shane McMahon blowing out his knee against The Miz.
And just a further evidence that the women's Final Four was better than the men's. What was the cheapest seat for the women's national title game?
The cheapest seat?
Get in price.
$65.
$370.
Jeebus.
What's the cheapest for tonight? And you can still get it right now.
$87.
You're too high.
Really?
You are too high.
Wow.
It is $58.
Nice.
You can get in to NRG Stadium tonight for $58. Wow. And trust me, it ain't just, there's one set somebody really wanted to let. You can get to Houston like a couple, 3 hours. You get in for probably the amount of money you got in your pocket.
Say that game could be happening in the field outside.
That game could be happening. It could literally be happening in the driveway of my house, and I would move. I will pack the house up in the middle of the night. I know you will be done in 2 hours, and I don't care.
All right, Jeremy Greene, eye roll coming in 3, 2, 1, because my next stock up for the weekend, it's Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Major League Baseball. The new rules changes, they made all the difference in the world to me. I have been a baseball fan all my life. It got to the point where I was just so put out with 3 and 4 hour baseball games. Over the weekend, the average times the first 4 days of the season, with the new pitch clock in place, Average game time dropped 30 minutes compared to the same time last year. 2 hours and 38 minutes is your average time for a Major League Baseball game so far, and it was 3:08 the first 4 days of the season, 3:04 for the entire season last year. There's more runs being scored. There's more base runners. The shift thing, I killed baseball for that, but even that's working. More runs, more hits, more base runners. The base paths have changed with the bigger bases. Steals doubled in the first weekend compared to last year. This is a more exciting game with the pitch clock in place and the shift being gone. I think this could be a resurgent year for some of us some of us baseball fans.
Oh, yeah, it'll bring back the 8 of you that had left. The 8 million of us that didn't. I'll just go ahead and do it right now. Major League Baseball was going to be one of my stock downs.
Why?
Because the buzz around you died. You had nothing minus the women's Final Four and Wrestlemania, which were both at night. Well, the final was on Sunday during the day, like 4 o'clock. You had Friday and Saturday to your lonesome. I have not heard one person on any national show even so much as mention what happened. That big momentum from, the World Baseball Classic. Yeah, just really the resurgence for baseball. It lasted 3 days, and I guarantee you the ratings are going to bear it out because you're missing the point. Yes, all those things you did were great. You got to make up for 25 years of spitting in the eye of your fans, and you're still not doing that. You're still not marketing your players. You still had Shohei Ohtani, who was put on the grandest stage with the World Baseball Classic, and all these people watched it, and then you put him in Oakland, which I think you have to have local community television in Oakland to see. Yeah, that was actually my next stock down. I'm just telling you, you can fix the game all you want to. You have to bring people back, and you don't have anybody to do that. And the few that you do, you hide in places that nobody sees them. Like, you're opening that. It still dumbfounds me. You have all this momentum with a $600 million player. You put him against the worst team in the entire sport, the least watched team in the entire sport. Why was he not playing the Yankees? Well, because that's how the schedule works. It's how we've always done it. Bingo. That's the problem. You can't get out of your own way. I don't care how many things you fix because I'm not watching it anyway. Mm-hmm. You're not after you. You've watched it the entire time. Right. You're trying to get me. You had one crack at that, and you piddled in your pants. And guess what? Give it 3 weeks, you'll be back in the exact same boat. I promise you.
So you're saying better matchups on opening weekend should be
It's at least a start. I'm not telling you it's going to fix everything, but you don't have marketable stars. Well, when national shows are making fun of the fact that top 10 players in your MVP race, you wouldn't know if they walked in your office at that time. Yeah, hiding one of the 5 I know, that's probably a bad idea. Mm-hmm. And it's more of what I've said about baseball for all these years. And now I'm going to say the same thing about golf. Can we stop with this live thing?
Please.
Can we stop? Like, the fact that the biggest headline on Monday going into the Masters, which starts on Thursday, is what Fred Couples, who's 60 years old, said about Sergio Garcia and Phil Mickelson. That's not why we're watching this. I promise you. I know what the PGA is trying to do from a marketing standpoint. I get it. I know what you're after. It is not working the way you think it is. Because we've largely figured out this live thing is a joke. So we'll watch it to see them come back and play. I don't need a bad guy. I don't need 60-year-old Fred Couples, who is less relevant to this tournament than I am. It's by the fact I'm not in it. I don't care. Get to Bryson, get to Tiger, get to Brooks, get to the ones that I actually care about, and stop telling me what Fred Couples thinks about anything. I love Bam Bam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care what you think about these guys. And the fact that Fred Couples has a podcast makes my head hurt.
The marketing is just, to me, it's not there for live.
No, it's a joke tour. It served its purpose. You got a lot of things out of it. And there needs to be a reconciliation at some point.
Mm-hmm.
This adversarial relationship that all of the Rorys and the Freds and those guys have, that's not benefiting you. That's not creating rivalries. It's gotten so annoying that the second I see it is just Seacrest out. I don't care. Don't pair them together. Let the live guys play together. You can treat them as lepers. I don't care. I just don't want you to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just get over it.
It's weird. It's weird. I feel like we called that. Or at least I did.
Oh, yeah.
This was never going to go well.
I just never understood how you were going to throw that much money at something with, okay, so. And now the reason it continues because they obviously don't care that they're losing money.
Right. They're going to continue to try to turn this into a money-making venture, and it's just not there.
And
then I guess I'll go with a stock up. Go back to the well here. After WrestleMania 39, you had the news about the merger. UFC, WWE joining forces, $21+ billion company this is going to create. And I think it just makes too much sense for these two to get into business together. And there are going to be pluses and maybe some minuses on either side, but I'm having a hard time coming up with some of the minuses at this point. And then lastly, I'm going to go stock down for Jalen Carter. Every little bit of news that comes out about Jalen Carter is bad. It looks bad. He looks immature. Drew Rosenhaus is now saying that he's not going to talk to anybody outside of the top 10. And I don't know if that should come off more as confidence that we're going in the top 10, or as Jeremy pointed out earlier in the program, they don't want anybody talking to this guy. Because every time he talks to somebody, there's more red flags. And you got a guy that went from possibly being in the discussion for the number 1 overall pick in this draft to he may not even go in the first round.
He's not falling that far. That's way too far. He's not falling past Seattle at 20. I just would have said you were ludicrous for thinking it could get that far. It could get that far. That means I got to do one more, right?
Yep.
Okay. We haven't brought this up yet, but I feel like Jalen Carter was my last one. It's the NBA. Have you read the terms of this CBA that they hurriedly agreed to?
No.
All right, so the one and done sticking around, which means you have completely put your fingers in your ears and screamed at the top of your lungs to ignore the fact that your college game is dying.
It doesn't matter to them.
Well, it should, because that's the filter system to your league, and the fact that it's giving you nothing, that should bother you. But I digress. Now you have to play 65 games to be eligible for the All-NBA teams, the MVP. You get why that's stupid, right?
Why?
Because all these guys were playing 65 games anyway. You weren't missing more than around 15 games. It was load management on back-to-back nights. Well, you were already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds good in premise. It's pathetic to me that you think it's okay for a player that played 65 games to win your MVP. He missed a quarter of the season and he's your MVP. Okay. Tell me your games are irrelevant without telling me. But that's actually not even the part of it that drives me crazy.
Okay.
The in-season tournament could be here for next year.
Oh, no.
Whoa, buddy. We're going to have it in Las Vegas. We're going to pause the season in the middle of it for you to win a meaningless tournament that doesn't do squat. I unwind everything I ever said about Adam Silver. I am genuinely starting to think you might be a moron. Not only are you not the great commissioner that I thought you were, you are one of the most tone-deaf people I have ever seen in my life that has taken the NBA from what was the second best sport in all of professional sports, and I'm not sure you're better than hockey or baseball right now. What is the point of that?
No clue.
We got this in-season tournament. Okay, does it benefit you in any way? No, but 8 teams will advance to a single elimination tournament in December, and we're going to play it in Vegas.
Who cares?
I don't know. I do not know who on the planet Earth they think would care about this. I got nothing. Even the most devout NBA fans I know. Do you care? No, I don't care. And the comp is to like the Premier League, They don't play each other. That's why it's a thing. If you're playing Real Madrid, I get it.
Right.
You're playing the Nuggets and the Clippers. Or, well, this time it's in a tournament. And?
Single elimination
so
tournament.
Stupid.
That what? That
it does nothing.
Right. Does it give you, is it like minor league baseball where the winner of it automatically gets a bid into the playoffs?
Nope.
Or
you know what it gives you? The winning team, each player gets $500,000.
Woo!
LeBron James made $51 million last year. I don't know how good your math is, but that is the most inconsequential amount you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
Ever. I'll be honest, it'd make more sense if you took the G League teams and played them in some mid-season tournament.
It might get us to watch G League basketball.
I still wouldn't.
I mean, probably not.
The G League could literally play in the Irwin High School gym right down the street. I still wouldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
And they could give me $50 for going to that game. I would still not go.
Which makes me think that's part of the reason for the one and done rule to remain, the 1 year removed, is because they're still trying to make the G League Ignite a thing.
The NBA is quickly getting into NBA territory of I don't know who you're listening to, but you are going to run off what limited bit of fan base you still have with just doing stupid things that make absolutely no sense. This is what I said about baseball 20 years ago. You have a very loyal base. That base ain't going anywhere. It's not them that you're worried about. They're buying your tickets. They're buying your merchandise. They're here to stay. You're worried about that ancillary fan. None of this, none of it appeals to the lay fan. None.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. When we come back for the break, it'll be time for the most important message of the day, plus the draft needs for the San Francisco 49ers.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stray shower into the early part of the night tonight. Patchy fog late night. That will roll into the early part of Tuesday. And a warm overnight low. 47 is where we are headed. Going up to around 80 after a mid-60s high on Monday. We'll see mostly sunny skies Tuesday. Increasing clouds Tuesday night. Low around 60. And then stray showers and storms Wednesday. 81 for the high. Cooler Thursday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go. Future 26 westbound between 240 and prior to Elk Mountain Road. 26 westbound delays between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between exit 27 and US 276. Merriman Avenue northbound is stop and go between Spears Avenue and Beaver Dam Road. Again, Merriman Avenue northbound very busy between the Beaver Lake area and New Stock Road. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lindenfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Coming to you from the Ingles Studio, it is the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Yeah, we're going to turn the clock back on this one to just over 5 years ago. December of 2017, there was a man named Michael Rohana. He was from, or is from Bear, Pennsylvania.
Are we talking like Ring Bear or Ring Bear?
Ring Bear, like Cocaine Bear. It's Bear, Pennsylvania. This guy got in trouble because he went to a holiday party. He went to a Christmas party that was being had in Philadelphia at their big art museum. All right, so this was an after-hours party, open bar or cash bar. I feel like this is not a good idea when you have, historical things in a museum. You probably don't want to put a whole bunch of drunk people just wandering around late at night.
Cash bar is always a bad idea. Open bar.
Well, it was a fundraiser, so they had to raise the money somehow for
open bar
for the museum.
I'll pay the ticket price. I'll make it back.
Well, when they were having this, there was a special traveling exhibit there that was from China. 2,000-year-old sculptures of these, infantry warriors. The terracotta statues, you've probably seen them in movies and such. Well, this guy got loaded at the Christmas party, thought it'd be a good idea to go into the terracotta warriors exhibit and start taking selfies with the statues. Also, while he was there, he figured, hey, why not? I'll just take a little memento of the night. The pictures weren't good enough. I need to have a piece of history. He broke off one of the thumbs of the terracotta warriors, 2,000-year-old statues, valued at about $4.5 million. They say that the thumb itself had an estimated worth of $5,000. I guess either the guy didn't think he was doing anything wrong or what, but when the FBI came knocking on his door, they had to inform him that you fawed, and now you're going to have to foe. He was facing 30 years in prison for theft and concealment of an object of cultural heritage from a museum. That's an official charge. He has now this week pleaded guilty to charges of interstate trafficking and faces now a 2-year prison sentence, a maximum of a 2-year prison sentence, and a $20,000 fine. China wanted, of course, very harsh penalties for this man for destroying their piece of history. But lo and behold, he's probably not going to serve 2 years. Will more than likely have to pay the $20,000 fine. And finally, we have some resolution to this case.
Indeed. My story comes from Tarrytown, New York. It's about a 47-year-old man. He was taken to Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital in Manhattan for observation. In the story, it does not say what the observation was for. And that is important when I get to the end of the story, because the 47-year-old man was taken in around 11 p.m. and was released at 5 a.m. Well, apparently the ambulance driver that had taken him to the particular hospital didn't understand that maybe you shouldn't leave the keys in an ambulance, because the man came out of the hospital and apparently did not have a ride. So he stole the ambulance that took him to the hospital and took it on a 25-mile joyride around the city. Just got in and took off. They lost it. They didn't know where it went. They were like, oh, there was a big wagon right here with red lights on top of it. Well, they have a GPS in them. State troopers spotted the ambulance after they tracked it with GPS near Tarrytown, tried to stop it. Driver failed to stop. Troopers give chase. How do you stop a runaway ambulance that won't stop?
Spike sticks.
Spike strips.
Yeah.
They did that as he was getting onto the Mario Cuomo Bridge that goes over the Hudson River. Man was arrested on charges, and this is where that earlier thing comes in, of grand larceny, criminal possession of stolen property, unlawfully fleeing a police officer in a motor vehicle, and driving while intoxicated.
Oh.
Hold up. How drunk did you have to be when you went into that hospital to still be legally drunk 8 hours later?
What did he go to the hospital for?
Observation.
So it wasn't like he had to have a procedure done. They gave him some pain meds, and that's what he was.
Oh, no. He was legally intoxicated on alcohol.
Aha. So he had like a 0.20 when he went to the hospital.
At least. Unless he stopped at a gas station in the midst of the chase, which is also entirely possible.
Could have been.
That's a lot of crimes in one story.
I also feel like that would have been reported somewhere. Like the convenience store calls the cops and like, hey, some guy just pulled up in an ambulance and then just got a case of beer.
Some guy is wearing an ambulance with his butt out and just brought 3 Busch Light tall boys. I don't know what he did, but I feel like he did something. I don't know why this accident's happening in Manhattan, but
I don't either. I mean, unless he was just there on vacation from Mississippi.
Unless he was just hanging out and he went to like college with me or something. We have 2 of these.
Anything goes.
It's Thunderdome. I forgot there was an extra part of that. Pennywise joining the House of Reprehensibles. Welcome in. I believe he has a wager for anybody with on Mr. Jalen Carter. And then
I'm your huckleberry.
We have one of those from our buddy Gage Camplin. Said, why is Isaiah Foskey not getting more hype? Kid looks unreal on tape. How is he not a first rounder? I can only tell you what I have seen. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's the edge rusher from Notre Dame. We've talked about him over time that I'm not as high on him because the good is really good. The bad is really bad and non-existent. And I feel like he's a situational pass rusher in the right. I've had him going to Baltimore and the Rams. I have bounced between those 2 teams all offseason long. And I feel like with the 2 of them, he could be really good. I just feel like there's a better chance that he's going to end up with like the Texans or the Cardinals or one of these teams that there's nobody else on the other end of him. And I don't feel the same way about him that I feel about like Will McDonald or any of those guys. He blocks punch real well. He does that better than anybody in the draft. There's a lot of, if you watch his highlight tapes, you will look at him and go, that is the best pass rusher in this class. The problem is that it's like the trailer of a bad movie. You put every good thing in the trailer, and then I see the movie and go, wow, that was awful.
Right.
And that's just kind of how I feel about it. I think he's an early to mid 2. I think he comes off the board sometime early on night 2. But I mean, he's a talented player. I understand why people like him. Mm-hmm. It's just when you start really digging into it. And Tyler Cunningham had a great point. Did you watch him at the Senior Bowl? The one-on-ones and the full game. He was irrelevant for the vast majority of it. It just seems to me that anytime he plays a high level of competition, he just disappears into the ether. And those are guys that come into this league and then they just disappear.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you can join us in the chat. You can join the House of Reprehensibles as well, and you can super chat. It's that easy. All you got to do is just throw your comment in there, throw your question in there, and we will get to it. It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. When we come back, we'll close out the day with the San Francisco 49ers draft needs.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow. 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 west and eastbound, very busy on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. 26 westbound slowing between 240 and Elk Mountain Road. 26 westbound slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound, light delays approaching Airport Road. 40 westbound in Haywood County is crawling between exit 27 and US 276. Merriman Avenue northbound is stop and go between Spears Avenue and New Stock Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Want to save big on custom faux wood blinds, shutters, cellular shades, and more? Shop Blindster today and save up to 50% over comparable blinds from brick and mortar stores. Get custom blinds at low prices and free shipping at Blindster.com.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
It's Elliott in the morning.
Rover's Morning Glory.
Booker and Stryker.
All of the once-in-a-lifetime events.
Alter Ego, are you ready?
All of the best free curated playlists.
Nobody does it better.
All of the great podcasts for every interest.
This is Freddie Prinze Jr. from the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000.
Awesome. All of your favorite superstars.
We're the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need, and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It is the Sportsocracy, and Draft Miss coverage continues all the way up for the next 24 days. Well, actually 27 days.
Oh, yeah, because we'll be live all the way up to the last pick of the 7th round.
That's right, 24 days until the start of the NFL draft. And then, of course, we will have the coverage of each and every pick right here in the Ingles studio. Let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. 11 draft picks. I mean, this is a team they don't have any capital, right? No, 11 picks. Problem is they all come after or at pick 99 to pick 255. So you can add some depth.
You can get some awesome special teams guys. You should be taking a couple stabs at corners because I feel like you're without a doubt going to need one of those before this year's over.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like this roster is really good.
They are.
And I know they lost some things. I feel like Drake Jackson will be just fine. There's a reason they let edge rushers go, whether it was Charles Amenahu or Samson Ebukam, because they know what they have in Drake Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to be just fine there. I have some fears about the offensive line. You're basically returning one high-level starter on your line. And, yes, you have invested draft capital. I think you should do it again just so you have some options.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Banks, I still cannot for the life of me figure out how a couple of years ago they looked at him in the second round and went, yeah, that. And through 2 years, he has served to be exactly what I thought he was.
Mm-hmm. Would that be your target for your first 3 picks there
Absolutely.
in the third round? Just offensive line.
I think in the mock I just did 2 of those first 3 picks that are separated by 1 Raiders pick. I had 2 linemen in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just don't think it's very good. And then you look at whether it's Brock Purdy or Trey Lance. That's a really important part of this. Because Brock Purdy's small. Trey Lance is not great.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter who plays quarterback, unless it's Sam Darnold, greatest quarterback in the NFL, then you're going to have issues if that line doesn't hold up. So for me, I would hope that – I mean, I know you signed John Feliciano, but that's not a long-term solution. I would be hoping one of those center prospects falls. And there is a second tier after you get past Schmitz. And Jared Patterson is a guy I've had going to them. It feels like it every mock draft I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, I'm looking for depth pieces. I mean, yeah, I need a corner. I don't know that you're going to hit one of those.
Yeah, but you still need.
You got so many shots at it that surely to God you can hit one.
I was going to say you need some depth there because your starters are what Diamador, Lenore.
He's the 2. Travarius Ward's the 1.
Yeah.
So you've got one good one.
And Ambry Thomas wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
But you definitely need depth. One injury and that becomes, oh dear, we're in trouble.
Oh boy. It's not good. We're full Ralph Wiggum. We're in danger.
Right. So cornerback, edge rusher.
I would take an edge somewhere. I don't necessarily think that's as big a. They have hit so many of those just randomly in the 5th, 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. John Lynch does a great job of finding guys that fit that scheme. I really need to load up on linemen because I liked Spencer Burford last year. I didn't love Aaron Banks. And now losing Mike McGlinchey on the right side. I'm not saying he was worth the money he got, but there's a reason Denver gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is a steady force on the right side. Now you do not have that. It's Trent Williams and a bunch of dudes. So I'm going heavy on that line. I would probably come away from this with a wide receiver at some point. And then I'm looking at depth pieces at safety and then defensive line.
Mm-hmm. Right. Not a whole lot of glaring needs for the San Francisco 49ers.
Quarterback's a glaring need because you got 3, which means you don't have 1.
I was going to say they're not gonna get one. We're gonna have a hell of a competition.
Oh yeah,
between Brock Purdy and Trey Lance and Sam Darnold,
which Sam Darnold will ultimately win because a smart franchise will realize that he can be a future All-Pro.
You're in the sports.
I didn't even believe that. I said it. I didn't even believe it when it came out of my mouth.
This is ESPN Asheville. We will be back with you tomorrow at 3:00 right here in the Ingles studio. Enjoy the national championship. We'll have your recap tomorrow.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stray shower into the early part of the night tonight. Patchy fog late night. That will roll into the early part of Tuesday. And a warm overnight low. 47 is where we are headed. Going up to around 80 after a mid-60s high on Monday. We'll see mostly sunny skies Tuesday, increasing clouds Tuesday night, low around 60, and then stray showers and storms Wednesday, 81 for the high, cooler Thursday. Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go. Future 26 westbound between 240 and Elk Mountain Road. 26 westbound stop and go between Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. 26 on the eastbound side stop and go east of Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. 40 westbound in Haywood County is crawling between exit 27 and US 276. Expect pockets of very slow traffic volume Merriman Avenue northbound between Weaver Park and New Stock Road. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
Sponsored